Welcome, everybody, to the CrossFire podcast. We have got a star-studded lineup. It is the complete opposite of last week where we were doing small and intimate. Today's big and large. We're doing everything. We got a lot of games. We've got a lot of controversy. We've got a lot of subjects to cover, and these people are very opinionated. Some of them are a little angry. I might not be the only one yelling tonight. That's what I'm catching from this.
Hashtag who's yelling.
Right? I got news for you. We got another big-time yeller on the panel, and I'll introduce him in a minute. But let me start with the one, the only 7:04, 7 o'clock in Florida for him, Crap Gamer. Crap, welcome to the show tonight.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Happy to be here. Hopefully you guys are all doing good. It is the weekend, so we got that to look forward to. There's new game releases, so there is that to look forward to as well. I'm excited to be here, man. It's going to be great.
Crap, it's going to be great, and you got a couple of key videos that we're going to be calling on is like our own evidence, because I need you for this. Your videos are fantastic.
Exhibit A.
He knows.
Are you saying that I need to go to the evidence locker in Resident Evil 2 and pull this stuff out?
Oh, no. Speaking of that,
I didn't get a copy, man. I couldn't mooch a copy. So.
Oh, come on, Crap. You didn't mooch a copy?
Jesus. No. Nobody likes me, man. I'm a Crap Gamer, man.
You know the way we work at Crap. This is Moochie by association. By the time we're done with this show, everyone on the panel will have a copy.
He doesn't want to spend $60 on a game that he already knows the ending to.
He's played it? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Well, let me
played it 100 years ago.
That's right. We all
Resident
forgot.
Evil 2 is better than Red Dead Redemption 2.
Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Oh.
That comment right there will break the internet.
I'm sorry, man. The day I can put 80 hours into Resident Evil 2, man, and it can grab me with voice acting and characters, let me know. Man, I'm telling you, dude.
Might not be there.
We'll see.
But we do have a resident specialist on Resident Evil. It's your very own. He buys everything. So you're a bombastic boom. Welcome tonight, buddy. How you doing?
Listen, you know what? I got to be honest. I love this community. The panel is amazing. The Crossfire is amazing. But I almost didn't make it because Resident Evil 2 trapped me in the police station, and I had to use the Clover key to get here.
Well, buddy, I'm glad you made it, because there's a large portion of tonight's show that I kind of want to divulge a little bit into the nostalgia of why this isn't just your typical remaster. Okay, this is a remake. It's from the ground up. We'll get into it. We're going to start with you too, Boom, when we get to it. But let me go down to our next guest here. He's the usual suspect. You know him as Xbot448. Xbot, how the hell are you doing tonight?
Dude, Mooch, I am glad when you say it, because if Crap announces it, then I am Xbot 3, 4, 9, 2, 8, 6, 11. Yeah. But what's going on, everybody? I got two screens going on. Of course, it's Friday. I got Crossfire right here, a part of the stellar panel. And right next to me, I am just looking at the Anthem title screen, and I don't know what's going on. I told Mooch that if it starts up, I don't know what to do if the game actually starts up while I'm on Crossfire. He told me I have nothing to worry about.
Yeah, that was a great little segment there. He says, Mooch, I just want you to know, if in case it comes up, I may be a little bit, in and out. I may not be paying attention. I said, well, then I'm not worried at all. You'll be full attention on Crossfire.
Yeah.
So, Xbot, that's great to have you. And then we've got one of our returning usual suspects. The show has felt empty without him. It is great to have back our Forza specialist, Alan Walsh, FullThrottle.com. Alan, welcome back to the show. And let me tell you something. Heartfelt, we missed you on the show. I know the audience missed you. People have been asking for you. How have you been? And welcome back.
I'm doing well, Mooch. Honestly, it's a great pleasure to be back on the show. Thank you so much for the warm introduction. I just got to say, you know what? I'm glad nothing has changed while I'm here. We got an amazing panel. We got a lineup of hot topics. But Mooch, I got to say, that new banner that you've been rocking on your social pages is brilliant, with all them freaking quotes on it. I love it.
I appreciate that. And that's the great
Sean LeBray.
The great Sean LeBray, everybody. Yes, outstanding. He did a great job. And to be honest with you, I appreciate that. Thank you, Alan. And I thought that was a little something, right? I think that's the only one I'm missing. I don't even know if I think that is on there. Great. Great. Okay, that's for damn sure. And then I've got my buddy down south in Florida. He's a little under the weather, but that's just how committed he is for you, folks. For you. It's the Italian Clowns himself. Clowns, how you doing tonight?
Hey, what's up? We're still sinking here. Got some tornadoes, hurricanes, the usual stuff.
Just a normal Friday for Floridians.
Yeah, just a normal Friday.
It's a lot of F's in one wording sentence for me. That's listen, Clowns, it's good to have you here. I appreciate you being here under the weather because you do have a lot to comment on the next few things that we're going to be discussing. But let me get to my special guest. And here's what's great. This is one of the fine Fridays that I get to say that I put 3 invites out. And, sometimes, listen, life gets in the way, and, you just can't make it to the show. All 3 said, I'll be there. I can make it. So with great privilege and great honor, let me welcome back Slow-Mo. Slow-Mo, welcome back, buddy, from Brap Podcast. How you been, buddy? And I'm very excited to get your input on the kind of the nonsense that's going on with EA, but at the same time, the greatness that is Resident Evil. How you been?
Hey, wait a minute, hold on. This is CrossFire?
Yes.
I thought this was the Anthem complaint chat. This is oh. Well, I mean, I'm glad to be here. I'm glad. I love CrossFire. Great, yeah. So we're gonna talk about Anthem, right? Yeah,
yes,
I
we will.
To complain about. I'm not gonna complain too much. I'm not gonna do too much. But yeah, I'm glad to be back, man. I like coming in here, having fun. Everyone has so many diverse opinions, and everyone's so opinionated and loud about it. I love it. So I feel like I'm at home.
That's what I'm talking. Slow-Mo, you know what? To be honest with you, I'm kind of glad you brought that up because when you were on the first time, I said I wonder because I was on Brap and we've hung out in the past, and I said, you know what? I wonder if Slow-Mo's gonna dig it. You came in here, man, and you hold your own, and that's why I kind of called it Crossfire. I don't want people coming on in this show and just agreeing with everybody. I prefer you come in here and say, you know what? I think you're full of it. This is why, and go right into it. So you fit in perfect, buddy. I don't know if you're from New York, but you're like a New Yorker as far as I'm concerned.
Oh man, I'm from DC, so
that's all right. East Coast, baby.
Yeah, it's not that far off.
No, we still got that same attitude up and down this East Coast. Trust me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great to have you, though, Slow-Mo. We'll get to you in a second on an Anthem, especially. And then I've got another man here who's going to try and give me a run for my money on my yelling. His name is Knox. Knox, he's on the next podcast. How the hell you been, buddy?
Hey, I'm quite all right here, Mooch. I'm gonna try to keep my voice down. And we'll start talking about Anthem soon enough. And don't want to waste any of it now.
Great, buddy. I appreciate it. It's good to have you back, Knox.
Thanks for having me, brother.
You got it. And then last but certainly not least, to welcome here Mike, Magic Mike, as you guys know from Console Corner. Mike, listen, I reached out to you.
Who?
That's right. That's right. The one and only Magic Mike. Okay, he is back. I saw him being more and more active on Twitter over the past few weeks. I said, this guy's coming back. He's coming back in furious anger. And I send an invite out. He goes, I'll be damned. I'll be there at 7 p.m. Eastern time, the Lord's time. Mike, welcome back, buddy. Good to have you on the show.
It is good to be here. Thank you so much for having me on. And, man, we got so much to talk about. This gaming news has just been coming fast and furious the past couple weeks. I took a little bit of a hiatus there. We had a baby. She's doing great. She's getting bigger and all that
Mike.
stuff. Magic Mike's been working on his dance moves. They all involve rocking the baby to sleep. And tonight, I'm going to rock you all with some amazing content. And boom, speaks the truth. Resident Evil 2 is better than Red Dead Redemption 2.
Thank you, sir.
Now I'm going to get coffee, all right?
It's coffee, by the way, Xbox.
Go get on your horse and ride to get it, why don't you? So you can be back in 3 hours.
Well, let's get into it, guys, because here's the situation. And I got news for you. You guys know the workout video, 7-minute abs. Doing a 7-minute introduction will also lose some weight as a host of a podcast. Listen, this is a big deal. Anthem demo is out today. But a lot of you guys and most of us wouldn't really know that, okay? I just want to – listen, I watched some people that did get on. I went on Mixer. Shout out to Salty. Salty went out there. He tried. He did his damnedest, but he got stuck in the loading screen like 90% of everybody else. But I did notice that –
I had everything set up to stream. Everything set up to stream.
You know better than that, Xbot.
Well, I didn't go live. See, that was the good thing. I didn't go live. I wanted to make sure it was working before I put on the intro and went live and everything like that. And no live gameplay stream today so far.
Well, listen, I can't blame you there, but I knew this was kind of going to happen. When have we had really a flawless demo? Now, this is one that's kind of super exceeding that, and it's getting worse as the hours go on because now people are starting to say, oh, I'll give it an hour, I'll give it 2 hours. But my biggest concern is everybody's talking about the servers. I actually watched Mike Ibarra play for a while earlier, and I've watched other people on YouTube that have been flown out. I don't know if they were flown out to Sweden or I don't know where they went, but they had quite a group of people from YouTube go out there and play and take 3 hours of footage and come back. And I've watched a bunch of people, and I had the same concern that I had 2 weeks ago that I'm having today. And I'm going to pass the mic over to Crap in a second. But realistically, I'm concerned about Anthem. Okay, because Anthem to me, it looks like it's a beautiful game, but the content seems like it seems like it's either not. It's not that it's light. That's not fair to say. We're too early in, but it seems like you go get a mission, do the mission, turn it in, and it's like, and then it's like I heard people when they were doing a show on YouTube, they were saying, so I did that 3-4 times, and I'm expecting because it's BioWare that there's going to be this big elaborate story, and then guess what? No, not much story. Not what you're expecting from BioWare. And maybe that's where this game's going to get slapped around once we get past the server issue. Crap, have you heard this or seen this at all? I mean, I'm just thinking that maybe this game, we're giving BioWare a lot of benefit of the doubt because of their Mass Effect trilogy. But is this something that might end up nipping them in the bud?
I don't know. I haven't really heard much about it. I mean, I heard some people complaining about the lack of ability to get into what is this, a beta or something?
Demo.
Yeah, I mean,
VIP closed ultra secret hush demo is what it's called.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, look, hey, that happens. Who knows? It could end up working out for him. I don't really know, but I do know that a lot of people are looking forward to this game. Disney didn't open with all the rides working. I would say most games that are online focused have some kind of issues right away, and that's probably what these things are there to settle. This game could actually release and be amazing. We don't know yet.
Right.
That's the main thing. Like, so early are we nowadays? We ruin games by jumping on them. Just look at the games we've ruined as gamers this generation alone with their complaining and crying. Right? Like, we'll never get another Mass Effect game. Like we've done that because we bitched about the googly eyes. Right? How ridiculous is that? I mean, think about the different things we've ruined as gamers. It's ridiculous how we've done this, right? This is a VIP beta. That means it's super limited. This is demo, whatever. It's like,
it's a demo, not a beta.
I would say it's still just a demo or beta. Let's let them give them a little bit of time to get it straightened out.
It's a demo that they charged people to participate in.
That's a problem. The problem of charging people, that's a problem. The problem of the game the demo not exactly working. I mean, EA is EA to me. Like they've dropped the ball this entire generation, so that doesn't surprise me.
Yep, you're right.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying, like,
here's my thing, guys, and I just want to, and I'll throw this out to the crowd, and I want you guys to kind of fester on it. Please do jump in. Is that I don't like how. I'm actually really disappointed in this VIP demo, and then this one, and then a demo later, and then we'll do another beta later on. Listen, here's the thing. What they should have done if they're going to do this is, first of all, I don't mind letting everybody go at once, but let me rephrase that. That means don't have a VIP this weekend, a non-VIP the next weekend, etc. Also, don't say at 12 p.m. Eastern time, everything, and then do your respective time zones, folks. Everybody goes live. That's going to crash the servers. We know that. If you're going to do something like this where nobody's playing anything, everybody's excited for Anthem. So everyone can't wait to get on there. So what do? You should do it in time zones, okay? Eastern was 12 noon. Wait 2 hours, do Central. Then do 2 hours, do Mountain Time. Then 2 hours later, do Pacific. And all the way, that's across the world. That way you have time to control your servers. If there's a blip in the radar, you can go there, attack it, fix it. This whole mass boom in one drop, and millions of people. There was 11,000 people, okay? 11,000 people watching Ryan McCaffrey and Destin Legary, okay? Put the IGN, they had a stream yesterday on. Those two guys are like watching paint dry, and they got 11,000 people watching it. Come on, let's be honest for a second.
You know what, Mooch? I totally agree with everything you're saying, especially from my IT background. If you stagger a launch like that, it makes a lot more sense. But I have another point to make, and that's that EA and BioWare, they had to have known what the possible load was going to be. You can't tell me they don't know how many downloads they've had, how many pre-orders they've had. They had to have had a ballpark idea of how many people were going to try to play this game. And there's no excuse for not preparing the servers adequately to handle that kind of a load.
Right.
I'll go a step further and say that not only should they have been prepared for this, but they actually added to the load by you have a VIP demo. So you have to pre-order the game to get in the demo, and then out of nowhere, hey, here's 3 codes that you can give to 3 of your friends.
Yep.
So the people who aren't VIPs, who didn't pre-order, can now get in the game. How is this VIP? I don't feel like a VIP here. I don't feel like I'm
as
in
a VIP.
in the
You could have kept the
section right
codes to yourself and not given them to anybody either.
I mean, that's true, but then if you give everyone who has pre-ordered the game 3 codes, I mean, there are people out there. I saw a guy today who was streaming. He was going off. It was actually kind of funny, but he was going off because he gave 2 people codes,
and they got in,
and he's sitting there at the screen like,
and that's what I'm, and
I mean, that's
happening. That's EA's irresponsibility right there. If you're gonna do that, you're gonna give 3 codes to each person that pre-ordered the game. That's 4 people, right? You're keeping a tally of your pre-orders, so you know how many people gonna get on there. There was no quality control. There was nothing in place to test this. Didn't you do an alpha like a month ago?
You know, EA has no excuse for this, but at the same time, another point that I want to make is that this generation in particular has really felt like a generation of betas and demos for games well before the game launches. And me personally, I'm over it. I didn't pre-order Anthem. I'm interested in it, but I'm going to wait for the final product to come out. So all these server crashes and anything, it's terrible that it's happening to people. But I'm just glad that I'm not going through it personally because I'm so over demos and
people out there, this is pretty much their most anticipated title this year. I know that. There is a huge hype going on. And I know you said you have interest, but I don't think you have hype for it. This is how they got people.
Tell them, Xbot.
Tell them. To
pre-order I don't have hype for it is Destiny and Destiny 2 have ruined my hype for these types of games.
But why would they? They are different games.
Terrible games. Terrible games.
Well, see, I wouldn't say that, but they are definitely. I get really tired. I know it's like a looter shooter, and that's what Destiny.
Right. I mean, I get that they're very different feeling games,
man.
But you're still the same basic concept, the same backbone.
I mean, it's the same genre. It's the looter. It should be considered its own genre now. It's a looter shooter. You're gonna play the same.
What's this like the third game in the genre? Then you got Destiny. Well, Destiny 2. You got Division and Division 2 coming up. Is this like the third franchise?
No, I mean, you can even say games like Diablo series are games that are similar to this. It's just those were not massively multiplayer.
Borderlands did it.
Exactly. Yeah. Borderlands did it very well. A lot of games right now borrow a lot of what they're doing from Borderlands 2. But I mean, regardless of that, like if you're not into the kind of game where you do play the same content over and over again, that loot grind, trying to get that perfect weapon, trying to get that exotic gun, trying to get that sweet armor here and there. Look, if that's not you, this isn't the kind of game for you. But
that is me though.
Yeah, I mean it is. That's me too.
I mean,
but that doesn't mean like it's Destiny. Because I see a lot of people like it's just Destiny. It's just not Destiny. It's not. People don't know.
It's not Destiny, but also Slow-Mo, it's not really fair to say that because this is BioWare doing this game. And if you're going by BioWare's pedigree, you expect story. That's not something that you expected it in Destiny. You didn't get it, whatever happened there. But you expect that in this game. And then they're hyping it up that way as well. I heard that now they've got like the team that did the Old Republic, the MMO, which had a fantastic story behind this game now helping them out too with some of the design and some of the story and all of that. So to not even see any of it, like Mooch said earlier, there's none of that. Let's just go kill 25 of those. Go back to
that's the thing. And listen, and I think I love how Slow-Mo's saying that. I like what also Knox is saying. But guys, this is where I think the situation changes. Okay, Destiny 1 came out and they had the Grimoire cards, right? And a lot of people have been very vocal about how they're like, I'm not going online to read your story. But guess what? Destiny still had their faithful. And then we went into Destiny 2 and they did away with the Grimoire cards. But at the same time, they didn't really give you a whole lot of more story, but they set you up for knowing you weren't going to get a lot of story. In this situation, people are like, I don't mind if this is a loot grinding game. We realize that this is what it's going to be. But I have talked to people who have played it today, okay? And have played it in depth. And they have one fear. And I can't believe I'm saying this because I don't care about microtransactions. I really don't. I really don't. If Slow-Mo, if I meet you on Anthem, right, 2 weeks into the game launching, and your character's decked out, and you tell me you spent $200 and your dude looks way better than mine, that's fine. That's fine. What I'm saying to you though is, right, but the thing is, I've heard from a few people now that I trust. They're not there for news. They're not trying to make a splash. These are people that game. They said the game feels like it was built for you to make in-game purchases. Like it's like in order for you to do anything, it's like you gotta want to buy this.
It's only going to be no. Here's the
I don't know. I haven't.
I got to be honest with you. I'm going to tell you this from what they have already. Listen, they have been extremely transparent that there's no way. First of all, they
not
said
not pay to win. Boom.
No, not pay to win. First of all, it's not. There's no PvP available from the start, and it's probably not going to come for about 6 months. Okay.
Agreed.
Second of all,
in there, though.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's going to get in there, but it's not going to be pay to win. Everything is going to be cosmetic. So if you're a guy like me who wants Titanfall skins for all of your javelins, I'll drop $20 and I don't care. It's not that I'm rich. It's just that's what I want to do. I want to deck out my character, and it's going to be what I want it to be. You know, again, you may be the person that spends the $60. And that's all you spend for your entire time playing the game. And that's great if that, in fact, is the case. But a guy like myself who I mean, I saw the N7 armor in black. If that's $5, guess what? Boom's buying it.
Yeah, I'm buying that too.
You know, I mean,
$20. Let's be honest here. And Boom, I just want to let you know, if you look over your left shoulder, Claire's in trouble right now. All right.
Yeah, I know, man. I can't get to her. She's gonna have to stay trapped.
This whole thing about the story. This is something that I know these developers. They have a line of games that they have made. All right, BioWare definitely well known for titles that they have come out with. But can we let a new IP be a new IP and not be like, well, they made Mass Effect, so it better have this type of intertwining story to it.
That was a great game, though, Xbox.
Yeah, I know, but can that doesn't mean that every great game has to be Mass Effect either. This can be a great game in its own right. And, you know, I see people do it time and time again. Well, you know, since it's BioWare, they have to have this story. Well, it's a looter shooter, so how's it going to compare to Destiny? At the end of the day, this is its own game.
Well, listen, Xbot, I like what you're doing. I think your defense, if you were a defense attorney, I'd say you're doing a hell of a job right now to preach to the jury.
I need that lawyer check too.
But here's the thing, Xbot. You know, you can't have Michael Bay, who's known for big explosion movies, and then all of a sudden he does an artsy-fartsy film.
Yeah, then he does the piano.
We have people, hold on. We have people in the community saying that 343 needs to do something else other than Halo. We have so many people in the community trying to get well-established franchises to do something different all the time, right? So now you have BioWare coming out with a brand new IP, different world, gorgeous environment, and what is the first thing they do? They look back in the past and they're like, well, it better have a story like Mass Effect. They look over to the left. Well, if it's a looter shooter, how does it compare to Destiny? And you're already narrowing that tunnel for your experience.
Happens, Xbot. This is what's going to happen for a long time with all these MMO style games. Is they're going to compare it to Destiny. So you already know what you're going to be compared against if you're BioWare. So how do you make it different? And I know that you guys don't want to hear this, but how are they different? They're different because they provide a story. Hey, listen, I got Magic Mike here. I myself, along with him, and maybe there's plenty of others on the panel, but I see that he plays it religiously. I love Diablo 3. I've beaten Diablo 3 on 3 different platforms, okay, with 2 different characters on each. Like, I love it. I love it. I love it. But let's be honest, and Michael backed me up, I think. Diablo's story's terrible. There's no story.
Honestly, I never paid too much attention to it because it's so bad. But yeah, you're right. It's not about the story in a game like that.
Right.
And now, also with Anthem and BioWare, you know, BioWare, like everybody has said, is known for their stories. So I'm really hoping that they've put something in there that's going to carry it through. You know, what we're seeing right now in the demos and the betas, I'm sure they're not giving us the whole game. They've even come out and said the economy is going to be totally different. So
yes,
and that's one of the reasons that I'm not interested in this beta at all. Like, you know, don't give me an idea of what it's like, but where I'm making a lot more money than I should be and giving me a false expectation of the final product. So, for that reason and all these server issues, I'm just going to wait until this one launches.
I just want to go into the demo. I want to experience the world. I don't really care what the money situation is in game. I want to see how the transitions work and everything like that. I know once I get the full game, then I will get immersed in like the different bounties and stuff like that I'm doing and how I'm collecting money. But for now, I would like to experience the demo, experience the environment, get a handle on the gunplay, see how the javelin moves as I control it and stuff like that. That's why I want to play this demo.
Well, I have to. I'm sorry. Get Slow-Mo.
All right. So a couple things here. This is the same team for the majority of the development of this game that did the entire Mass Effect trilogy. So,
correct.
All right. So that's the BioWare Edmonton team. Now it is, yes, obviously it's a new IP. It's a looter shooter and not a straight up RPG like they're used to making. So I expect a little bit less story, but I still want a better story than Destiny. Like that should be like a given. Like it should be like, hey, look, I should be able to understand what the hell is going on here. Who's that person? Who is she? What's her name? I get it. That kind of stuff. I expect that from BioWare. That should be the minimum from the kind of company that has throughout their entire existence in video games has been delivering great stories. I think that should be just a bare minimum. And then also here, it's a looter shooter. Have fun. Now I played the closed alpha a month ago, and in the closed alpha it had 3 missions. It was 2 tutorial missions trying to help you get used to just the javelin, the controls, how to use it, how to play it. And then there was 1 third mission that was supposed to be for matchmaking, which didn't work for half of the alpha period. Whatever. But my issue with how they've done this right now is they should have took what was in the closed alpha and just gave us that again, so that people would then understand what the story is, because those first 2 tutorial missions were very, very well told. I understood the story. I knew what was going on. I knew who we were fighting for. I knew who the enemy was. Shoot them motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? I get it. But then now people are jumping in and you're like level 10 and you jump in a free roam. You're just like, wait, but what am I doing? Who am I fighting? Right. People are just shooting their guns, not even using their powers. I'm like,
Slow-Mo,
where is the...
Go ahead. I want to ask you a question because I like what you just said. That's what I was going to say, and then you just kind of led right into it. Do you think that maybe these demos shouldn't be open to the mass public? Right. Don't you think that... Hear me out. I think it should have been maybe half or a selected group only to be able to go in and play. Because like what Slow-Mo's saying, okay, listen, Slow-Mo, let's be honest. I say this all the time in all my podcasts, okay? People that are in the chat, people that listen later, you guys on the panel, we're in the know, right? We read Game Informer. We're reading all of these people on Twitter, all the game enthusiasts, the YouTubers, the gaming media. We're watching everything. We have all the devs we're following, okay? Hear me out. What you just said, getting thrown into a demo at level 10, free roam, not necessarily having major tasks, story kind of all over the place, because at level 10, you're in the middle of the game, or not, exactly. you're maybe a quarter way through of the main campaign. My point being is that if you're just Joe Blow gamer, okay, and you're in this group and you play it, you're like, this sucks. What's going on?
But here's the problem.
And I think it gives it, but it puts a bad taste in people's mouth as far as gamers as a whole. And then they take to Twitter and you see what happens.
But Mooch, check this out. Here's the problem with all that, right? The problem we're having now is they didn't have enough servers lined up for how many people were going into the game. So it doesn't matter. Even if you had a special demo, for the VIP people, right? And then maybe a separate open one for others who are kind of interested in the game or whatnot. Yeah. You still need the same amount of servers. I'm saying? So you're still going through the same situation.
Here's the other.
Yeah, I mean, I see that too.
I see that. If you're talking about a server test, yes, I get that. But different server tests have existed this generation.
They already knew how many codes they put out there. They knew how many people downloaded the demo off of the Microsoft Store, off the PlayStation Store, and off of the PC. They have those numbers. Why the hell did they not have the servers ready?
I think it could possibly be what like the whole saying of the left hand not knowing what the right hand's doing.
Yes,
like
good point.
technical people. I'm a network engineer in my day-to-day job. And if I don't know, if I'm thinking, okay, so we're doing a VIP beta to the people who pre-ordered the game, and you give me numbers of the people who pre-ordered. So all right, like I am trying to make sure that this number of people are going to be able to get into the game and enjoy themselves.
Yes.
But then like say the marketing department or EA decides, hey, let's start giving out codes. Let's just get everybody in here. It's gonna be a free for all. We're gonna have fun. Yeah. And it's just like, wait, hold up, man. What you doing?
Right.
I wasn't ready for that. And so if that's something like internally, we don't know this, and I'm just speculating. But it's so damn bad. My speculation is probably right. So I'm just gonna say, hey, look, I'm thinking EA gave codes to people who weren't pre-ordered VIPs.
Correct.
Yes.
And that just threw everything off. And that's where we got people, screaming on their Twitch streams about can't get in the game. Screw EA. I knew they were going to do this. I hate everyone. Life is over.
Wow.
That kind of stuff starts coming out then. And it's like, really?
Yeah, but
They just would have kept it straight for the people that they said it was for originally. And then do the open demo that's next week. Why did you have to give codes? Next week is an open demo for every damn body.
Right.
Yeah.
What is the purpose of giving the codes?
Well, because they wanted to do a Titanfall Easter egg. Get everybody excited.
The thing is, the game is less than a month away too. So if this problem is happening now, it's less than a month.
Well, there, Knox, great point, Knox, because there you go. Guys, this is not months and months away. It's 4 weeks away, if not less. My point being is what Knox is saying. There's a lot of people, okay? They're not like us. They're not willing to give it a chance. They're not like the folks that are being great in the chat right now that are like, we complain too much. Let's give them a chance. There's a lot of people that feel that way here. But if you just go to try to play, and again, you're Joe Blow gamer, and you're out there and you go to play it, guess what? And you can't get into the game. You're like, cancel my pre-order. And that's my thing. What Slow-Mo just said is what I'm saying. Why not have the VIP guys go on there and really, really test what they wanted to test this weekend? That's a them problem. I'm not going to say what they were going to test. I don't know. I don't care. And then open it up when you get all the bells and whistles worked out so that the open beta, and then you let everybody, Joe Blow Gamer goes in there and gets to go and enjoy the experience. And Slow-Mo, especially with your background and what you do, you know that everybody going on at 12 p.m. Eastern time today in your respected areas around the world is an absolute, it's a recipe for failure. It just is.
It's a clusterfuck. It's basically to throw it out there. Look, here's the thing. Okay. I want to touch on what Slow-Mo said because I was fortunate enough to have been a part of the alpha. And now that the game is out there for people playing, we're not really stuck with the NDAs, but I'm not going to go into too much detail. What they were able to do in that alpha was tell enough story that we understood what our javelins did.
Yes.
Right. We understood where we were flying to, what we were looking for. We followed along a path, which I'm assuming is going to probably be a part of the opening part of the game. It would make sense.
Yes.
Unless they change that. I didn't play the demo as of yet, and like a lot of people, I don't think that this is going to hinder. Sure, it's a black eye. There's no doubt about it, and it's EA dropping the ball. I mean, look, didn't they drop the ball with the Battlefield 5 launch? They did. It was terrible.
Yep.
And I'm going to be honest with you. This really is not that big of a surprise. It's very unfortunate, to say the truth. Because this is one of my most anticipated games, right along with Resident Evil and the Division 2. I don't know if it's going to hurt sales. This game is going to be big. It is not like Destiny. I think that's the biggest thing that everyone keeps saying. Well, it's a looter shooter, so it's like Destiny. Well, actually, it's not. And they've done numerous interviews where they're explaining the story is going to be up in your face. It's just not there available now. And then, to be completely fair, when Destiny came out, where their beta / alpha / demo was out, there was no story. It was hit level 8 with each character and you were done. Right. And there wasn't any story there either. So let's not give Destiny a pass for being the greatest thing since sliced bread, because they were not.
That's true.
Okay,
but they had a better launch and demo. Than
they had a better launch. That's absolutely true. But we can't turn around and say, well, wait, hold on just a second. There's no story. The game is going to be shit and we're expecting so much from BioWare because they're storytellers. Guys, this is a beta/demo. They're not going to give you the entire cow. You know what I'm saying? Without you buying the farm. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't expect them to give us all that right now at this stage, but I want to see that it's in there, and I want to see from Anthem. My expectation is that I'm going to get the complete story in the game when it comes out.
Yes,
we have a beginning, a middle, and an end, and it's not going to be split up into different high-priced DLC packs the way that Destiny does. That's why I've been jaded about these types of online group games.
They said they're not doing that, and we got to admit the villain for Anthem looks freaking crazy.
Yeah,
I saw that, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, yeah. I am down to take that guy on. Like, definitely. I don't even know what he did, and I want to shoot him.
let me say this before we got so many subjects to get to, and we're already at 40 minutes in, guys. I want to say this one more time. So overall, okay, take not just today into account, but all the demos that we know we've tried in this generation. Let's not go before. Let's just say this generation. I myself personally, I've always been on record as saying that, and it's hard because you can ask crap. When we first started podcasting, I was always anti-demo because I thought I don't want to work out the kinks. Okay, let me put it this way: you guys know you love my restaurant representations. You go out to eat and you order this great dish. I don't want the waiter to come up to me and go, "Excuse me, sir, if you could please come to the kitchen. It's halfway done. Do you want to just try a little bit? Put your finger in the sauce, make sure it's right." No, I don't want to put my finger in the sauce. When the chef's done, I'll eat the plate that I'm paying for. So sometimes when you do these betas and the demos, you get a bad taste in your mouth. Do you guys think as a whole, before we go on to the next category here, do you guys think that demos are still providing the gamers a service? I know it's providing the developers a service. Is it providing you guys a service, or is it more of a hassle?
No, it's free QA for them.
That's kind of
for them. What about you?
No, it's just annoying. All these bugs, glitches, connection
I feel that
issues.
way for the majority of it. Mike, what do you think?
That's exactly what I think. That's what I was trying to say earlier about this being a generation of demos and betas. I'm over it. I want to wait for a finished product to come out.
At their cores, I like what demos give to the gamers though. When they actually work, when they're put on the store and everything like that. And if you look at the Microsoft store and you go to the demos, there are a lot of demos in there. So if you were thinking about getting a game or something like that, there's a demo in there. You can go in and try it out, try the gameplay and whatnot, feel the mechanics out. And I like that when it comes to demos.
Right.
When it comes to quote unquote betas this generation and how they use that word beta, and half the time it was a glorified demo just to get hype up for the game. I don't like that practice as much, but yeah, definitely keep putting demos on the store. I like getting into those.
Yep. I just want to say
Alan, go ahead.
I just want to say real quick that I think I can totally understand why some people are frustrated with betas and demos. I don't really like betas either. Like, you got to pre-order the game usually, and then the beta's full of issues, and it's a pain in the ass.
Yep.
I'd rather just skip over to the final product. But when it comes to demos, a proper demo, like, I'm going to compare it to Forza. When it comes to demos, Forza has been killing it. Every single game this generation, they've done a demo. It comes out before the game launches. There's no bugs in the demo. There's no issues in the demo. It just works, and it gives you a big chunk of gameplay that you can dive into. You don't need to pre-order the game. You don't need to do anything. You don't even need to have Xbox Live Gold. They're free to everyone. That is what you call a demo, and no one else does that. Demos are great, but we don't get them this generation anymore. Forza's the only franchise that still does a proper demo. Nobody else does a demo.
I'll second that.
These betas, like this Anthem VIP demo, you had to either pre-order the game or you had to get it on EA Access.
Or you got to know a guy who knows a guy who knows a guy.
Yeah, exactly. You got to mooch a copy.
You got to mooch. I had to mooch it.
I got it. So I sent it to download because I had the EA Access membership. It's free with EA Access. And when I logged into Twitter this morning and I saw people having issues, I was like, I'm not even going to bother booting it up. If I get a chance to tomorrow, I'll hop on, see if it's any was better. But today, I just ruled it out for today. There was just no point going on it today because I knew I was going to get the error message. Like, what was the point?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I can't blame you one bit. And I feel the same way you do about Forza. I mean, crap, what do you think overall as far as demos? And I mean, like, you don't have to relate it to today's situation. I mean, you've had this conversation for years. Are you still okay with demos, or do you think that realistically it's nothing but a nightmare for gamers?
I like demos. I just don't know about like these online deals. You know what I mean? Those more or less, some of these demos and stuff feel more like a pitch to get people to buy the games.
Yeah.
So, you know, back in the day, we used to get a demo for everything pretty much.
But those demos were
like
finished games, weren't they, crap? Back in the day?
I mean, sometimes, but now it's like we don't get, you know, we don't get a demo for anything. You know, it's just like we got to buy it or we don't.
Right.
You know, one of the things, like, this generation has brought a lot of cool things, but it's brought a lot of bullshit too.
Fucking
and that's,
oh, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, that's
yeah,
probably the biggest. I mean, we've lost our double A's, we've lost our, you know, some of our smaller games, we've lost the demos, we've lost a lot of things that we loved last generation. So it is a bit of a bummer, but hopefully we get to see you know, some positive things come out of this. I don't know, like for me, you always have the option to skip it. Like, I wish I would have skipped the Destiny demo or whatever the hell that was. Remember, you played it for an hour or hour, and then you played that same thing to start the game.
Yeah.
Right? It was such a drag. You know, I don't like that kind of stuff. I didn't mind like the Ninja, what the Devil May Cry. I thought that was cool. Kind of sold me on the game.
Yeah.
You know,
No,
like
I
sometimes it can be a
completely
good thing. I think they're a good thing for single player games, and not as good for like the multiplayer stuff unless you're like Call of Duty trying that out or something. So I'm not really sure, but hopefully you know, hopefully we continue to see demos and a little bit more polished stuff. Remember how Gears 4 had a demo?
Yes.
Right? And everybody jumped on it. Oh my god, it looks so bad. What are they doing? Like, that was a true demo. They were testing their game, getting it ready. Right? Nowadays, it's like we get these things that are broken or that,
crap. Listen, Lady Foxfire agrees with you. She says the same thing. She says Titanfall 2, Destiny 2, Dragon Ball Z betas helped me decide not to buy them. Right? And she goes, but I like the choice to try them. You know, Lady Foxfire says exactly what I'm thinking. But the thing about it is, though, is that, yes, so we try them. It turns us off to the game. But the game may not actually be as bad as the beta or the demo. And that's why I think that, you know, being the guinea pig and getting to play these games, you know, early isn't necessarily as much fun as it sounds on social media, right? Oh, are you guys excited? I can't wait to. I saw so many of my friends, all right, get on Mixer today and waste their afternoon watching a loading screen. Right? And listen, I got news for you. When this game comes out in 3 weeks, don't think that 3 hours is going to leave their minds and they're going to forget about it. It's going to leave a bad taste in their mouth. So I just think that demos as a whole should be limited to maybe just pre-orders, just the people pre-order. I know people don't like to hear that. No, that's not fair, Mooch. Everybody should play. You know, it's the generation of options. Damn it! If I want to roll down the street with the air conditioning on, my windows down, I can do it. I know you can. That doesn't mean it's right.
I do it. I do that, actually.
But a real demo is a good thing. Look at the Resident Evil 2 demo. That was a real demo. And the game, that made me, hands down, I'm buying it tomorrow. I didn't buy it today because I was waiting for the shitty Anthem thing, but I'm buying it.
Right.
And I was waiting for that demo. I really was waiting for the Resident Evil 2 demo to see if it was a real remake, to see if it was, you know, not more of what I played 20 years ago, whenever the hell it came out. That solidified that I'm gonna buy that game. So real demos are good. It's these betas that are crap, that are garbage. You know what I mean? That's what they got to get rid of. Like crap brought up the Gears of 4. That was an alpha, and it was a real alpha. It was like 7 months before the game, and they were really testing
exactly.
It.
I'm okay with that.
That's fine. And when they dropped the game, it worked perfect. It worked beautifully because that was a real alpha. They announced it as such. They let enough people in to try it, and that was that. Not trying to sell you on get EA access, get Origins, buy the VIP. Man,
of course, but of course, the thing is like we were saying earlier on the chat too, is that you've got that doesn't stop the media from like when they put that alpha out for Gears of War 4, the IGN folks were like, "Oh my god, the coalition doesn't know what they're doing. Look how terrible this looks." And it was 7 months prior to the game releasing, if not longer.
Because people have blurred the lines between what a real demo is and what an alpha or a beta are. They have already blurred the lines where everyone believes that an alpha is a demo and a demo is a beta. It's not.
It's also blurred between journalism in gaming and opinion in gaming. That's the other problem with that whole thing. But go ahead,
you know, Mooch, real quick, you know, the Don said something a few minutes ago. I didn't get a chance to get in there. You know, he said something because, you know, obviously he's a developer. He said you got to break the game in order to fix it.
Okay,
and that does make a lot of sense. I don't think that they put this out there for everyone to break it.
It should be done internally.
But internally, Knox, this is why we need more East Coast representation. Okay, because this is the whole thing. I agree with Don, and Don knows this is his business. But the thing about it is, you keep it internal. You break it with a small group of people. You don't put it out to the public and be like, "We're broke."
Well, I mean, you really can't test a multiplayer game that's going to have millions and millions of people playing it.
Couldn't you do it with just pre-order people? You know that you've got a ton of people on that list already. You don't have to open it up to everybody. Like, everybody's playing this weekend. Because let's be honest, they said it's VIP. If this was a club and this was VIP, I mean, you paid for this, I'd be pissed.
Didn't Anthem already go gold?
Yes.
Yeah, it did.
Exactly. So now I get what Don's saying. You got to break something before you can fix it. That happens all the time in my day-to-day job. That's what we do, is we try to break systems while we're testing them so we can fix them. I get that. And this error, whatever it is, I saw a lot of people in the chat saying it's not a server capacity issue. They've updated it saying it's an unknown error that they're investigating. Whatever it is, this game should have already been broken and fixed before it went gold.
Right, and I think it's in the game's defense. No one has reported that has gotten in that there's an issue with the game. This is an issue with the servers.
Right, this is just trying to get into the game.
Right. So I mean, in their defense, this is what they're testing. They're doing a server test, which is very similar to what Titanfall 2 did. Titanfall 2 didn't run. They had an issue at the very beginning, if you remember, but they fixed it within a few hours. Here we are, many hours later, and we've got major problems. You still have Casey Hudson coming on doing like damage control, you know, on Twitter.
Yeah, like that's what I was going to say in the chat. They're like, "Oh, it's not a server issue." But when they first started having the issue, they're like, "Oh, yeah, we're spinning up new servers now." It was everything was about servers, and
it has to be a server issue. And it has to be a server issue because if some people are getting in, then the software is sound.
Yeah, right. What I wanted to tell the chat is, after a while, when they're realizing they can't keep up, they are going to spoon feed you bullshit real quick, all right? And it's up to you on whether you're not. You're going to swallow.
That's right.
You're going to push it away, okay?
Let them know, because it's true. They're just damage controlling it, because you know what this did? It made me say I'm not buying it day one because the servers don't freaking work. So I'm out. I will wait for 2 months down the line. If Anthem is good 2 months down the line, I'll know. I'll watch all my favorite streamers.
Knox, you're canceling your pre-order?
I canceled it already, brother. I'm not playing. I canceled it already.
Right.
It don't work. I'm not buying a house. I don't buy fixer-upper games. I want a full product.
Can I pop in here with a classic Mooch quote? I think for me, this is going to be a vault game.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It very well could be for a lot of people. And, you know, I'll be honest with you, Alan, why do you feel that way, though?
Honestly, you know, it's hard to say. Like, the game, like, it looks promising. It looks promising. And visually, it looks really, really good. But I don't know, man. You know, I don't know if it's really my kind of game either. And like, I've been hearing, you know, mixed things online. Some people who are playing it like it, some people not so much. Now just talk about microtransactions and they're good, and you have all these server problems. And it's like, at the end of the day, if you got EA access, you're going to get a 10-hour trial. So there's no point in me committing to buying it until I actually get to play it first and then see if I like it or if I don't like it. That kind of thing, you know?
Right. I don't blame you. I think a lot of different people are going to have different reasons for kind of getting into this. Myself personally, listen, I got to be honest with you. I think Anthem, and I want to switch over to subjects in a second. So boom, don't go anywhere because you're on the hot seat next.
I do have one question before you finish.
No, go.
Where is the collector's edition for this game? Because I'm disappointed.
Boom is here, ready to buy it. Boom's the only person on this entire panel that does it while holding a credit card. Boom! Just relax for a minute. This is a free show. Listen, Feel free to donate to the Mooch. It's in the description. Listen, I got news for you. My problem with Anthem is this. I'm a little concerned, not about the servers. This is all going to get fixed. This is a great topic for Crossfire, but we all know that when the game comes out, we're all going to be playing the game. Yeah, maybe the first hour will be, fill in the blank, a problem, this and that. They're all like that, so I'm not going to put Anthem on any kind of a higher pedestal or lower pedestal for that. My biggest concern with Anthem is I think after I call it the division, and I know that Slow-Mo and Boom are big division fans. I call it being divisioned. What the division is basically after anywhere, depending on your gameplay style, okay, 7 to 20 days of playing it, you have this big promise from the developers, and it's going to be great, and it's going to be amazing, and it's going to play forever, and you're going to love it, and there's free DLC, and just wait till we give you free DLC. They use free DLC as like the cheese in the trap for the mouse, okay? And everybody's like, I got to go get some free DLC. It's free over here. Let me tell you something. The old expression still rings true. You get what you pay for. And sometimes free DLC ends up being like the Division, which is called Horde Mode. And I don't want Horde Mode for DLC. So my point being is this. I'm a little concerned that Anthem's going to be short on content. And I know coming from BioWare, that sounds ludicrous. And I hope I'm wrong. I've never hoped I was so wrong because I'm going to be there on Anthem day one. Because let me tell you the benefits. Anthem looks polished. It looks smooth. It looks crisp. It looks beautiful. And no matter what platform you're playing it on. But if this game doesn't have content or doesn't have the backing of EA or the purse strings, we are all going to be running flat in 30 days after this game comes out.
Mooch,
go ahead, Xbot.
One last thing on the whole content thing. If they can get a PvP in there within the first 6 months of it, I don't see a problem there. The game is going to be fresh. I think there's going to be enough content in there for people to keep going in. If it goes any longer than 6 months, because even in Destiny, sometimes I feel like when I did power up the game, I didn't want to go in for a strike or a nightfall. I just wanted to go in and shoot a few things, get a couple points built up here and there, and stuff like that. So I think that these games, I think the kind of like side aspect of something PvP, team deathmatch, something like that. I think it's almost mandatory, in my opinion, anyway, just for that change of pace. And it keeps people in the game, but doing something different. If they get that in there within 6 months, this game's going to be fine. Well,
I'm usually 6 months.
Yeah,
I think we got to narrow that down to 3 months.
Word.
Yeah, that would be optimal right
in
there.
6 months, Xbot, the Anthem is gone.
Yep, it'll be a never was. That's what happened to me with the Division.
Right, me too.
By the time they fixed it, I didn't give a shit to play it anymore. 7 months later, it's great now. Yeah, it should have been great then.
That was me too. And that's how I felt. You know what I mean?
Hey, you know what? Can I say something real quick?
Go ahead. I know you're a big fan, Slow-Mo. Go for it.
Can I say something real quick? We talking about games not coming out at launch and being what we want them to be and free. Hey, where was that same energy for Sea of Thieves?
Oh, here we go.
Oh, I'm just saying.
I'm just saying.
We're gonna do this. We're gonna do it for all
that was
the
hashtag
games.
fun, man. What are you talking about?
No. We don't have the same energy for Sea of Thieves out.
Slow-Mo.
I'm saying.
Slow-Mo. I was right there with you with that. Like, I got news for you. Listen, I've said it. I'll say it now. And believe me, it's on my list of things to talk about tonight. You know what's funny? I didn't put it in the topics, but we're going to talk about it because I have it written down. Listen, me and the family, we play Sea of Thieves is a fun thing. But Sea of Thieves, to me, is still lacking majorly, okay? So I'm with you on that, Slow-Mo. Now, I'm not going to defend that at all. If you want to, you got the Mooch stamp of approval on that one.
That's all I'm saying. I'm like, we got to keep the same energy all the way across.
All the way across the board. Yes.
I love the Division. I played it through the bad times, and they were bad. I mean, it was tough. Like, you come out of cover, you get grazed by a bullet, you down. Meanwhile, the dude you shooting, you can unloaded 5 clips, 4 grenades, 2 supers, and a nuclear bomb on it.
You could have watched the Star Wars trilogy, the first 3, and come back, and he's still alive.
Yeah, and so like they had to work some stuff out. Now, I think with Anthem, and I know we're trying to get off the topic, but one thing I do want to say for people who are still interested in the game, all of the javelins are different.
Yep.
So when I say they're very
Yes.
different, they're very, very different. And I was
Yes.
watching another YouTuber who actually got a chance to play the game one-on-one. He didn't have no server issues, so he got in there just fine. And he was playing the game, and he has like 20 minutes of content on his YouTube channel of all the different javelins. And he was talking about how it took him like 7 to 8 levels of playing as the Colossus to really learn how to use the Colossus. And I'm looking at his gameplay.
Yeah.
He's got a shield out, and he's absorbing damage from the enemies, using that damage. And he has like a Tesla electrical rod on his back that's redirecting the energy back at the enemies. And he's like, I had to figure out how to play as this Colossus. And I'm looking at gameplay today, and people playing the game like they play in Destiny.
Right.
They just shooting guns. They ain't using any powers. They just shooting guns.
Slow-mo.
They're not flying or anything. And I'm like, people just gotta learn how to play the game, man. I think
Explain
as
this
you,
to people, though. I think you just brought up a huge point. This is different. This isn't like Destiny where you're either, just the Warlock or just the Titan or just the
You
Hunter.
pick one and you're stuck.
Now
with
you
it.
right in this case, you have all of those javelins, and you can level them all up. We can go out Monday and be one. Tuesday you can be another one. Right? You can level them up at your will. Is this true?
I'm sorry. See, I saw something in the chat and it caught my and I got
No, it's okay.
My ADD kicked in.
That's okay. I think all gamers have ADD. We all have the same thing because I got to be honest. That's why we're playing Anthem. Someone's like Resident Evil 2. We're like, what? We switch over playing a different game before you even know it. But no, my point is you can switch javelins.
Oh yeah,
and play with your friends in the same gameplay is what I'm saying. Versus
you're one pilot who has like the 4 javelins, and you can choose which one you want to play at any given time. Once you get to a certain level, that you can get a new javelin. Right. And everything is like at like 2 or 3 is the first one, then it's like 8, then 12, then 20, and I think max level is 30. But I think some of the replay value will be in people saying, I've really learned this Ranger. I'm a little bored with the Ranger now. I think I might want to get into that Interceptor. And then as more time goes out, they're already talking about coming out with more javelins that that will come out in further DLC. So I mean, look, hey, Nox is already like, screw that, fix the servers. I'll be back in June. I understand that. I understand it completely. And there will be a lot of people that are going to feel exactly like that. Right. But it's like I'm saying, keep an open mind. Like games like Rainbow Six Siege are going strong right now. But if you looked at it at launch, you was like, this is bad. Like this is super bad. Like I can't deal with it. But now the game is great, and everyone loves it. So
well, I'll tell you right now, this is I can't believe this is how like engulfed we all are in Anthem. We've been waiting for this game for so long. Everybody's so passionate about it. And everybody in the chat right now that's listening, you guys are in for a hell of a show because there's so many more heated and big time topics to get into. And we've spent an hour on Anthem. And let me tell you something. There's nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that because it is the game of the hour. But if you guys don't mind on the panel, I am just going to switch over to Senora Bombastic, who is our Resident Evil resident specialist.
I think I hear my mom calling me.
Oh, Xbot, now listen. You go ahead and keep vaping, but you got to listen, okay? This is important, Xbot. Now, Boom, tell people what you're experiencing, what this nostalgia is. And listen, usually nostalgia is just a hell of a drug because we missed that 16-bit, 8-bit era. Here's the thing. This is different. This is different because they rebuilt it from the ground up. What are people missing that aren't playing it? And for the folks that are, let them know what is the special moments of this game because you know it inside and out.
Well, I'm about 7 or 8 hours deep into Leon's story, who I started with first. And I'm going to say this. First of all, it might be, I understand that this was supposed to, because if you remember, there was a story that Windows Central dropped that Capcom confirmed it was going to be running in 4K 60 on the X.
Yes.
And the X only. From again, I'm going to make an assumption here. That's probably going to be down the line. Right now, we know what it's running because I know I watched Crap's video about it running at 1660, I believe it was.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Across the board. And I'm going to say this right now. First of all, do yourself a favor. Stop with the number bullshit. Okay? The numbers at this point doesn't mean anything. This game might be one of the best looking games this generation. And what I love about it is that the character models are so up in your face close that you get to see pieces of skin hanging off the zombies. You know, this is okay. Yes, it is technically a remake but it's not a remaster. This isn't Resident. This isn't Resident 2 with new skins on it. They built this from the ground up. This is absolutely not only worth your $60, but if you are a fan of the series, and I'm going to say this right now, it is the best Resident Evil in the entire series. End of story, no questions asked.
Right.
Okay. It is scary. It is dark. The ammo is very, very limited.
It's scarce.
It's scarce in a way where I'm actually sorry I started playing on normal, because right now I have liquors all over the place. I am running for my life because I have 3 shotgun rounds and 6 handgun rounds, and it's just not cutting the mustard. And you know what? I'm like, I like to play precise. I will hear a zombie break in. I will run down the hallway, turn around, and I will take my time headshotting them. Some of these zombies will take 8 shots to go down. And then when they're down, if you leave and come back, they're waiting for you around the corner. So you think, okay, they're down. I've had a few jump scares where, you know, I thought I killed one. I didn't run up to him and finish him off with the knife. I came back and I'm like, okay, I can just nonchalant through this thing, and I get grabbed. Listen, there is everything that you loved about the original Resident Evil 2 is there in spades. The story is what you would expect. There are some definite twists to it. I've met a few different people in areas that I did not meet in the original one. You are finding new creatures. You know, I came across, I didn't see what he looks like. I know what he looks like already, but like an incident with Mr. X.
I know what he looks like already.
Yeah,
but...
I mean,
Boom. If I may interrupt for a second, I do want to say something here. I watched a bunch over listen, we've all played it, so it's just so fun. But Mr. X, I've been told by some of the Resident Evil experts, and I consider you one of them, okay? I've been told that when he makes his presence, to not waste a lot of ammo on him. But by hearing that though, okay, and Mike, let me also throw you in the loop here. By not doing that though, is I don't remember. I used to put every round I had into him.
I always ran.
Right?
You did a ton of ammo drops off.
Can you run around him? Can you avoid Mr. X?
I used to run.
Yes. Yeah. So I think from what Boom and I were saying before the show went live, I'm just a little bit further than he is, and I don't want to spoil too much for him, but we're both playing the Leon campaign, and things right now where I'm at are a lot different than the original Resident Evil 2. In the Leon A campaign back on Resident Evil 2, you never ran into Mr. X's Leon. Mr. X was always a Claire story element.
Yes.
And he's not anymore. Mr. X is traumatizing the shit out of me right now. He is omnipresent. He is following me. It's the freakiest thing, and I've never experienced anything like it in another game. I feel like I'm being stalked by the Terminator. Schwarzenegger's going to come around any corner now and just pummel me into a pulp. And it's so tense where I'm at. And like Boom was saying, the ammo right now is scarce because we just got past our first major boss fight.
Yes.
And I was feeling good going into that boss fight. I had ammo. My my item box was stacked with all kinds of healing items. I got out of that boss fight and I feel like a little puppy dog trapped in hell because I have no chance anymore right now. And running from Mr. X is the only thing that you can do. And I just have to say about this game in general, it's the best remake I've ever come across.
Yep.
I agree with Boom. It's the best Resident Evil game that I've played so far. And I don't even know that I'm halfway through the first campaign yet. And the pacing in this game is phenomenal. I've never played a game that has been paced as well as this one. Last night, I had to force myself to go to sleep because I started that sucker up at midnight, 12:01 a.m. I was loading that game up.
Nice.
And 3 o'clock comes around and I'm thinking I've got to get up and get my kids to school tomorrow morning. I have to get to sleep, and I didn't want to. And that for me has been rare the past couple months because we had the new baby. I have not been doing as much gaming as I've done in the past. And last night I felt like I was a 13-year-old again.
That's awesome.
It's so amazing in every way. I can't even put it into words, but I played the original Resident Evil 2 on the PlayStation 1, on the PC, on the Nintendo 64. I mean, I played it so many times, and I played it on so many platforms. And now that I'm playing Resident Evil 2 on the Xbox One X, this Resident Evil 2 has got to be one of my top 5 games of all time, and this remake has just replaced it 100%.
See, there it is right there, guys. There it is. And, you know, when it comes down to it, I played Resident Evil 2 back in the day, and I had a lot of fun with that, right? And I sat back, and I listened to Boom, and I listened to Mike, and you guys made great arguments. But when I hear you kind of like grabbing at pacing and saying how incredible and stuff like that, and I'm looking at the price tag, and I'm like, all right, I already played the original. They switched some things up. Of course, the game looks gorgeous, but am I going to spend $60 on this? And I will say, if I had to give advice out there, guys, just wait for it to drop like 20, 30 bucks or so. You can pick it up then.
You know,
we'll have fun.
Xbox, I think that's fine. And don't get me wrong, I don't think you're wrong in that assessment at all. For the majority of people, I spoke to a few people today that totally agree with you. Mm-hmm. But you know, Mike and Boom,
we are out here, people.
We are out there. But so are the Mikes and the Booms. They're out there.
Hey, and we're all entitled to our own opinions.
Oh,
I mean,
absolutely.
That's how I feel about Anthem. You know, I'm not super hyped about it because of how I feel about that style of game. I'm more of a single player gamer myself.
Yeah, me too.
And all I can say is whatever price point you buy this game at, it's going to be an experience that you will enjoy. Yes. And all the free content that they're promising us over the next months, I mean, that has me even more stoked about the game. And I didn't think I could be more hyped about it.
I will say for all the people that are deciding that they are spending the $60 on this game, and I hope it does sell well, because you guys are helping Capcom bounce back. I know Resident Evil 7 really helped them bounce back because they were in some trouble before. But with this Resident Evil 2 remake, I think it's selling well. A lot of people are buying it at $60. Me personally, I'm not going to do it. But we got Boom here, we got Mike here, and then, you know, a lot of people bought Resident Evil 7, you know, at full retail price as well. You guys are helping to keep Capcom in business right now.
I said this I said this a couple weeks ago on Crossfire. Somebody was like, "What?" But I mean, Crap knows. I said it on his show a few times. Resident Evil 7 was my game of the year in 2017.
Well, Resident Evil 2 is Boom's game of the year 2019.
I heard you say that before it came out, Boom, and that is
January.
Wow,
hey, you know
that is high regards.
Capcom has been doing amazing things between Resident Evil 7 and Monster Hunter World and now Resident Evil 2. I mean, Capcom has been hit after hit after hit.
They bounced back like within recent history, but before Resident Evil 7 dropped, they were in trouble.
No, they were on the ropes. There's no doubt about it. They were certainly on the ropes. And you know, if again, depending on what you believe, I like to get a lot of I like to read the 4chan forums where Resident Evil has a massive presence. And the guy Anonymous One who I look for the Resident Evil news. I don't know if he's a Capcom insider or not. I have no idea. He's Anonymous One, but he was on point with Resident 2 6 months before we even knew anything. He was on point. And his last post a couple of months ago, which I did a story on my channel, Resident Evil 3 is in pre-production. They are going to remake that as well. They're giving it the same treatment, and I'm very excited for that. But I'm going to tell you this. Look, here's the thing.
Can we get it for $40, though?
Well, listen, look, you know, I understand where you're coming from, but I think you're wrong. And I'm going to tell you why I think you're wrong. And again, it's your opinion. I get it. The game is a $60 game. You're getting a 15-hour campaign per character, right? In the data mine, they found that originally they said, Capcom themselves said it was going to be one mission per character. Well, in the data mining, they found a Leon A and a Leon B and a Claire A and a Claire B, just like the original. Okay, that's number one. Number two, you have the fourth survivor, which is supposed to be twice as long as the original, which is Hunk, Mr. Death in the Resident Evil universe. You have Tofu, which is another character, and supposedly there's an Ada Wong side story that's just as long that they haven't announced yet. So I'm going to say this. You're going to get your $60 worth of a single-player game. A guy like myself, I'll put 50 hours. A guy like Mike will probably play this game 2 and 3 times, and you know what? It's still better than Red Dead Redemption 2.
Oh, wow! Yeah, I got to agree. I'm not even like a super
my God! Yeah, what's happening here?
Everything was good.
Wait a minute.
Did I just fall into the Twilight Zone?
I just dropped the mic and I
Gordon
walked
is
away.
dropping knowledge.
Well, I mean, listen. Let's talk about this for a second, though, guys. You touched on it on the resurgence of Capcom, but we had a lot. Look at we forget how quickly we all forget. Isn't it great?
I'm a downer.
2013. No, you're not a downer.
I'm a
2013. We hated remakes and remasters, and now we have people putting a remaster on a pedestal, saying Game of the Year. What do you guys think is the difference between this and what we got earlier in the generation that separates the two? And you guys
early, because it was Uncharted, God of War, it was Sony exclusives that a lot of people out there in the community, and let's just be honest,
there was a lot of third party too, though.
That was a big thing. And then with like the Uncharted, they didn't even put the multiplayer in as well for that collection and stuff like that. You know, I was there when I was like, come on, man, so many remakes. We wanted fresh new games and, you know, to get into our library. It was also earlier in the generation as well. So it's not like people got that nostalgic feel about older games. And I will say, when it comes to Resident Evil 2, I mean, how old is that game?
It came out in 98.
So to see a remake, you know, here in 2019 and with the attention to detail graphically and bringing it up to speed to today's standards, I mean, that is something to behold. Just to me, my wallet does not feel right.
I got to piggyback off of that,
man.
I got to piggyback off of that because what you're talking about, like God of War 3, the Uncharted collection, Last of Us 2.
I love God of War 3 too.
Oh, I love God of War 3 as well.
My
I played
favorite
that on my PS4 quite a bit.
That was my favorite game on the PS4.
The difference between those types of remasters and what we're getting with Resident Evil 2 is that those were just, you know, up-reses, you know, maybe some new textures, the same bones of the game.
It just had a fresh coat of paint.
That's Resident Evil 2, this remake that we're getting here, I'm not going to classify it as a remaster. I'm not going to classify it as a remake. This, in my opinion, is a reimagining of the game.
Yeah.
It's not the static camera angles that you had from the original game. It's not the same plot. I mean, like, you know, overall you're going to get the same story, but it's not following
same
the same
controls.
points. Yeah. It's so different. It feels to me like Resident Evil 4 and Resident Evil 2 had a beautiful, beautiful baby, and that's what we have today.
Wow.
Did they stop you from having to write on the typewriters when you save a game?
No. Well, no, there's unlimited saves.
In
You don't have to
2019.
find, you don't have to find ribbons unless you play it on
Well,
like God.
super hard.
You got to find a battery charger for your iPhone. Is what you got to do, and that.
Well, you actually had to find
typewriters, but
there is a particular part where you have to find a 9-volt battery for C4. Yes.
Yeah, you do.
Yes. Well, let me ask Knox. What's your take on this? I want to ask Knox and Slow-Mo. Get some more. I guess. What do you think about? You guys have not been vocal about. You have to have it. Do you own Resident Evil 2 right now, remake, or will you be buying it in the next 7 days?
I'm buying it tomorrow. I said that a little bit earlier.
Okay.
The rant thing. I'm definitely buying it tomorrow. I played the demo and I thought it was dope. But the whole reason that I wanted to play the demo is because I wanted to make sure that it wasn't like what Xbox was just talking about, just a remaster with a fresh coat of paint. If it was that, I would have been good. I'm like, all right, been there, done that.
Brother.
No, I know. I'm saying that's the reason I played the demo, because I wanted to make sure that it wasn't that it was in fact made from the ground up like they advertised, and it is, and it was dope. When I stabbed that zombie in the chest and his knife got stuck in there and I killed him and started boarding up windows, I'm like, I'm copping it. There's no doubt copping it. I don't know if it's better than 7. Mike and Boom are saying it's the best one ever made. Is it better than 7?
Yes.
Automatically, yes. Come on, that's not
that's
not even Resident Evil right there.
Nah, yo, Resident Evil. That was dope. And one thing that I wanted to ask you guys, because I didn't get to check into the demo, can you play it in first person, or are you stuck having to look at Leon in third person?
No, it's a classic Resident Evil third person game. Unless they add a first person mode in one of the updates.
Look, I'll tell you something. I got you. Listen, I just told everybody on the air. I've said it for years now. 2017, that was my game of the year. Was Resident Evil 7.
Yes.
But the thing about it, though, Boom, is it took me as a Resident Evil fan some time to get used to playing in first person.
Yeah.
Why?
Knox, I gotta be honest with you. That game, but have you been playing Resident Evil way back? You know,
it's the same. It's the same controls. Somebody just said tank controls, right?
Have you been playing the whole time?
It's not the same tank controls as it was back in the day.
It's a futuristic, third person.
It's the way third person feels now.
Yeah,
right. I'm saying in Resident Evil 7, it was the same controls as back in the days, technically, but you're in first person view, so you don't feel it because back then it was the pre-rendered, screens, and so you controlled like a tank for real. But those are the same exact controls.
I will say Resident Evil 2, the controls feel a lot like Resident Evil 7, and that's because they're both using the RE engine. So you're going to get that Resident Evil 7 vibe from Resident Evil 2.
Right.
It's in the third person perspective.
Yes.
Yeah, that's why that's the only. I mean, I'm gonna play it regardless. I'm gonna buy it, but if I had the option to switch it to first person, I totally would, just because of 7. 7 got
Slow-mo, are you in?
You know what? I guess I'm gonna be the one outlier here. Okay, so and now let me start from the beginning. Very beginning. I have never been like a big Resident Evil fan. Like I played through the game and like, all right, they're cool, but it's never been my jam all the time. But so initially I wasn't going to get the remake. But then the demo came out and I'm like, hey, that's free. Let me try it out. Let me see how different it is from the original game. And I really enjoyed it. I was checking my drawers, see if I eked one out a little bit a couple times.
Yeah,
it was really good. I had my my Lucid Sound LS35X surround sound headphones on, so I'm like really hearing like all kinds of stuff. I'm like, man, where is that coming from? Where this was happening? It was good, and I said, okay, you know what? I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get this. And it was surprised me because I'm looking at me like, really? You gonna get this? I'm gonna get this. So, but here's the deal: is that there's so many games coming out. I'm probably not gonna get it right away, but I will get it. Probably, okay. I probably will definitely get it before Anthem comes out. So, like for me, it's just kind of like because I'm still playing.
Retro, man.
Let's talk about retro for a second. That's actually a good thing because you know what Slow-mo says that makes sense. You could play this game. I've heard anywhere from 6 to 10 hours, depending on how you play the game, per run through. And I've heard it's also worth your time to at least run through it twice. So even at twice, you're at 12 to 15 hours, something you definitely can pick up before Anthem and enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's definitely worth everybody's time. Now, I will also say that Xbot448 made a good point a minute ago, and his point was the $60 threshold. And the Magic Mics and the boomsticks of the world would definitely, and they have forked over their $60. I will say this:
I bought the $70 version actually.
Well, there you go. And boom,
I bought the $200 edition.
Yes,
so yes.
Wow. Yes. What you guys don't realize is Leon himself came over and put the disc in the Boom Xbox.
Oh no, Leon is making coffee in the morning. I want you to know that. And Claire will be delivering the crumpets.
Claire's bringing the croissants. This is great. I love it. Boom's great. I get, but for people that are kind of like Slow-mo, who's like, I'm not really like a huge Resident Evil fan, but I play the demo and I enjoy it. I kind of side with a lot of those folks too, because realistically speaking, guys, and I'm curious just to hear a yes, no before we move on to the next subject, and I'm gonna hit crap up for this next subject because he's got the goods on this. Is basically, do you think this game should have been $40 because
Absolutely
it isn't?
Not.
No,
Negative.
it's an older game.
Yes.
No.
It's
just
yes.
It is so radically different than the original. The content listen, here's the thing. We know what a remake or a reskin or a fresh coat of paint game looks like. We know what that looks like. God of War 3, The Last of Us 2, The Last of Us 1. There's plenty of games that you were like, okay, I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed playing it on a newer system, but it's just the same game. This is not the same game. This look, like I said, just watch the videos again. And I'm going to be honest with you. Here's the thing. If the demo, which I was very vocal about, man, I don't like this 30-minute demo thing. I think they dropped the ball. All it did was make people hype for the game because Knox is a perfect example of that. Right? What did you say,
So
Knox?
Slow-mo said that too.
I played the demo and I was like, holy shit, I'm sold. Well, if that 30 minutes doesn't sell you, then that should be the outlier that says this game is just not for you. But as it being less than $60, no way. I'm sorry.
You guys have no idea how excited I am after the show. All lights off, playing this game. I want to be as creeped
Put
out
the
as
headphones
possible.
on.
Hell
and
yeah.
Wear the Depends because you're gonna need them.
Yes! That's what I'm talking about.
Mooch, were you a fan of the original Resident Evil 2?
Oh my God, yeah.
Oh, you're
Okay, well then I'm excited for you as well because you are in for a treat tonight.
Yeah.
Buddy, I've played them. Geez, there's a couple of the stuff. I played up till 5. I did not play 6.
That's good. Don't worry about it. 6 didn't exist.
You didn't miss
Forget it.
anything.
All right,
Yeah,
I did not play 6, so I'll come out and say that much. And I'll be honest with you, 5 kind of steered me the wrong way. I didn't care for 5. I played it, but I saw that was when I thought they were going in the wrong direction.
Right.
I can't remember. Was 5 steroid Chris
Yeah.
Redfield?
Yes.
Where he
Yeah.
punches the boulder at the end. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Five-
the
five was
huge
the
Hulk
best
Hogan
one.
muscles. Like, what happened there?
Yeah, you're like, wow. Well, everybody was on roids back then, Slow-Mo. It was cool. Right?
Right.
So, real quick, let me go here. Crap, I want to get you involved here. This is a big deal. I got it in the title. So the Xbox One, after all these years, we know how many they sold. And every time an Xbox is sold, an angel loses its wings.
Yes, that's true.
So,
Yeah.
realistically speaking, Crap, are we is the number? What's the magic number? Let people know that it died.
41 million.
Now, how did
So
this come
that's-
about?
Z Huge.
My
who-
favorite pie chart creator.
Yeah,
Oh,
the thing
boy.
is, the thing is this, right? Like he's been wrong about something. He knew about Game Pass before it happened. He knows something about numbers. I know that. I don't know exactly where he stands with a lot of stuff, but with this, it probably seems about accurate.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'll say so.
I probably had it closer to 45 million. Or I don't think
I
anybody.
was rounding closer to 50, between 45 to 50.
Yeah, so I mean, at this point, we're getting new consoles next year. To even possibly hit close to 50 million after the debacles and all the hate and all that kind of stuff seems like something that is quite surprising. I'm not surprised by the numbers. I think that it seems pretty fair. I know people are going to jump on it and go, "Well, Sony's more than doubled it." Hey, good for them.
Good job.
Good for them.
Bravo.
Yeah, good job.
Yeah.
It feels a little bit low to me just because there was that wasn't there an Xbox France data breach back in the summer that had them at 39.5 million sold, and I mean,
or that could have been
it's fun.
shipped. That could have been. I don't know. I'm not sure. Like I said, like who knows if this is like the guy has dropped some credible stuff in the past, and he's been wrong about stuff in the past. Like it's funny because when you think about it, he brings up how Microsoft cut the budget and there was no unlimited checkbook, and we all kind of make fun of that. But if you think about that, that's not so different than what me and you say, Mooch. They had no funding at that time. They didn't get funding until more recently. Right.
Yeah,
So was he really?
2017.
Yeah. Was he really wrong when he said that?
I don't really think he was wrong. I just think he had old information when he said it.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
you have to look at that too. So I'm not gonna hate on the guy. I think he does know something with the numbers specifically.
Yeah.
So I do think that we're gonna definitely be people are gonna jump on that. But at the end of the day, I think Microsoft has made enough with the Xbox to obviously they're continuing on. They're making multiple new ones. They're buying new studios. It's
So Crap, let me ask you this though. Does this kind of brought up a new question that somebody wrote me today, and I thought it was interesting. So knowing what we know with the sales number, let's say it's 100 to 50 million when it's all said and done with this generation, which sounds fair for both.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're there. Is that enough for Microsoft to say that they don't want to do forward compatibility? And maybe that they're only going to do backward compatibility, and this whole forward thing is just kind of maybe a bit of jargon coming out of Microsoft earlier.
Yeah, I mean, go ahead. I mean, go ahead.
All right, yeah. 41 million is still 41 million, and if you can sell a game to a consumer base that has 41 million, now granted, there are going to be people that are buying new hardware, but not everybody is going to jump in day one that has an Xbox One. But they can still buy the game, and the game is where these companies make the profit from. So no, forward compatibility, even with that number, is still 41 million consumers ready to go as soon as that game drops.
Yeah, because if you can launch a launch title for a new gen hardware and still have that install base be available to buy it, that's a big thing.
Dude, they're not in. You know what the funny thing is? You know, when the new hardware comes out, this is what they're going to do. They're going to promote that, you know, when it comes to first party on their launch titles, you can play all their launch lineup first party on Game Pass. And they're going to promote the crap out of that subscription service. I guarantee that. Yeah.
Yep. Game Pass is going to be a big driving factor going into that next generation. It absolutely will be. You know, when it comes to forwards compatibility, I think personally how I would approach it is I think Xbox One X definitely deserves it, considering how new the system is and how powerful it is. Like, the X is still a beast.
Yeah.
You know, it really is. And it honestly, I feel cutting off the X in 2020, like, to me, that would do the console an unfair justice almost. It just wouldn't feel right, considering how
it would be the
great
most
the system
untapped
is.
console ever made.
Yeah. So I think there's a lot. I think the Xbox One X still has a lot to deliver. And honestly, you know, it's funny. I was having a conversation last night with someone else I know, and we were talking about the Xbox One and sales figures. And I also put it at 40 million. I said it's about 40 to 42 million. I put it around there.
Yeah.
And that was before I heard about the 41 million sale figure. So
I think it was just 2 weeks ago on Crab's show. I said 45. That was my number. I think I said, you know, I've said somewhere between 45 to 50, but I mean, 45 held water for me. But realistically speaking, we were kind of joking the past 3 weeks. I'll blend the two topics, especially since time's running out. That we saw Madbox said that in 3 years they were going to come out with this. And that was, I don't know, but no, I'm not going there. I'm not going there.
Talk about this one.
I know you. Well, you know, if you want to blend it into yours too, Alan, you can. But I'm going to go ahead and say this. You know, Google is now seriously getting into the mix. And listen, I said 3 is a crowd before when I was talking about Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo. But Google, with their bank account, makes it, you know, 4 is a crowd. And they're rumored to come out. Now, the one thing I heard about the rumors is that their console to launch would be equivalent to somewhere around the Xbox One X, which would still be weaker than the Anaconda and PS5. But if Google sees that their version, which is rumored to be called something like what is it? I don't know what it is. It's the wackiest name of all time. Metallurgy or something like that. But if that ends up being huge, they may go ahead and reinvest and make another SKU very soon after that because they want to compete. Now, Crap, the one thing that we talk about all the time that we miss from the old Microsoft, the Donnie D days. Donnie D! God bless Donnie D! Yes. Donnie D would either buy an IP out or he would buy exclusive rights to that IP for the generation or for an extended period of time. The rumor is Google knows they can't compete with Microsoft and Sony, so they may go up to a franchise and say, hey, you have a huge name. We're basically what the 360 did with the BioShocks and the such, and grab a huge IP and say, if you want to play this, you play it on our console. And that's the rumor. And one of the ones that was thrown out there was like the Metal Gear series. So Metal Gear Solid 6 would be exclusively on Google's console.
Yeah, but
these are rumors.
That's no Kojima, though.
Yeah, that damn is
Kojima,
good.
Without Kojima, that's a done deal. That'll be a bad move.
And that may be a bad move, but it's also a name. And you have to understand that the casual market would still buy a name. And that's one. Google's got the money to do that with 2 or 3 franchises. My question is that now that we see what's going on, we see now why Microsoft is buying companies left and right. We see now why Microsoft is focusing on xCloud. We see now why there's going to be multiple SKUs. You know why? Not Sony, Google.
Google and Amazon.
Google.
And Mooch, we've said that for how many months, man?
Well, Xbox, we've said it, but the only thing we had was Amazon buying a few goofy little
people not
small
believe
titles.
It, though? I'm saying.
But Google's now pushing hard. And now Microsoft has to sweat because now there's somebody else in the ring with the same bank account. And that's where now you see and it's funny because, you know, this is another shame on Microsoft, in my opinion, because they had the opportunity in the past decade to really be the big cheese and they didn't. And now they're trying to do it because Google wants to step on their
hold on. Microsoft and Xbox, when it came to the launch of the Xbox One, they thought they were doing exactly that. They saw what was coming on down the line. Now, as a typical Microsoft thing, they looked too far, down that tunnel, and the consumers didn't see that far down there.
They were too early to the
but
game.
They were setting up to compete. They knew exactly what Google was doing.
Not with that GPU.
But dude, always online system.
Come on, guys.
People were going to be sharing power over
You've got Google stepping their big toe into the pool with the equivalent of the Xbox One X. Okay? And you had Microsoft after 9 years.
Dude, if they didn't have to do a mid-gen refresh like Project Scorpio, what do you think?
The only reason I got to call bluff on what you're saying is it's the tale of two Xboxes. I sit here, me and Crap go back and forth every week, right? And Crap's finally talked me into it, that there was an era in Microsoft, which we all know now, where there was no money. Xbox was going to be sold off. They weren't really fully into it until Phil made his pitch. And now we have the Xbox that you know today, okay? So you can't tell me in 2013 they were ramping up for what they have now. You can't have both stories.
They were ramping up for the competition that was coming on down the road. They were trying to get their roots established with that always online system, going into streaming and everything like that. Now, what happened was a complete 180, an absolute curveball when all the consumer base kind of rejected all that. I didn't personally. I had no problem with the always online system. I wanted to see what they brought to the table with family share and all that good stuff. But a lot of people out there, and we gotta point to gaming, the big gaming media as well, because they really hammered down on the negative aspects as well, and got a huge flood of people to say, you know what,
2013 was the year of clickbait, and it's never ended. Yeah. Right. So that got the money. That's what kept their lights on. But what do you guys think? Do you guys think that Google has a space in this console war? And I mean that figuratively.
I don't know. You look at some of the biggest developers out there. You think about Rockstar, and they're going to be launching their next GTA game sometime in the next few years. I don't see that launching on Google's system. I just don't. If you don't have those kinds of games, people aren't going to buy it. Like Metal Gear Solid, with or without Kojima, isn't going to sell a console.
No,
well, wait a minute, Alan. Let me ask you this though. But wait, slow-mo. Let me backtrack that and use Alan's example. Alan, what if GTA 6 just happens to be on the Google box too?
Oh, damn.
Then I have to buy it.
Yeah.
I have to buy it.
Exclusive?
I would hate.
No, not exclusive.
Oh, not exclusive.
No, not. What I'm
not
saying to you is that Google is going to go out and buy certain IPs that some of you on this panel will find worthy of owning a box for, and some of you won't. That's fine. But we all feel that way now. Okay? So what I'm saying to you is that Google's going to do something that Sony and Microsoft have stopped doing this generation, except Sony did it with a few, like Bloodborne, which is not Dark Souls, but it's Dark Souls. So they went to From Software and said, we want a game that's for us and for us only. Bam, they got it. They paid for it. Microsoft did do that with Titanfall, the original. My point being is that Google's saying, listen, we don't have 343, the Coalition, Ninja Theory. We don't have all this. I get it. We don't have Turn 10. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go out there, and I have a lot of money. I'm going to go out to company A and say, hey, you guys are great. You guys are selling like mad. I want the next iteration in that only on my console. Well, we want $100 million. Done. Bang. Right? Bang. Done. And that's what Microsoft did in the 360 era, which made them so successful. So, Donnie D. So what I'm saying to you is that Google's just taking another page out. It's funny. Microsoft does all the legwork, but then Microsoft turns themselves into the police. So my whole point is now you've got Google doing this. I think if Google comes in and uses the 360 handbook and actually has hardware that's equivalent to the X, listen, I got news for you. Yes, it'll be weaker than the PS5 and the Anaconda. Absolutely. But not that much weaker. And it'll be cheaper. And they'll have exclusive rights to certain games. What do you think? I mean, slow-mo, now that I put that in front of your face, what do you think?
Okay, the only way I can see this working is if they did that, like your suggestion, going to a publisher or a developer and say, hey, we want you to make an exclusive game for us.
Yes.
As a second party developer, they're going to need to do that to like every major publisher out there. get one game out of all of them in order to make it that enticing. Because if it's just one game, okay, one game is great and all, but I don't know if I'm going to actually.
Oh, you need more than one, Slow-Mo.
Yeah, you're going to need more than one, or
Absolutely.
go the route of just like, hey, look, we got Google money, let's just buy Ubisoft. And then from there, it's just like we got that entire Ubisoft drops like 4 or 5 games a year.
I love the way you're thinking because you just got my brain working. There was a rumor that came out about maybe 4 months ago. It was just before the Christmas holiday. And they said that Bethesda would love to be bought out for obvious reasons.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Right?
Yeah.
Remember that? There was everybody talked, big YouTubers were talking about it. My whole point is this. You have Google come in and all of a sudden buy like a Bethesda. And listen, I'm speculating, guys. It's a talk show. We talk. But they go and do something like that and they get all of that IP. You can't say Google all of a sudden becomes, one of the big boys.
Well, but that's their only option to become one of the big boys.
Exactly,
is to
Mike.
spend that kind of money because third-party games are not going to be enough to pull users away from their PlayStation or their Xbox. If they're going to come in as the new man on the gaming field, they have got to spend that money to get those exclusive rights to games. And it's all going to depend on what games they get. That's going to be the deciding factor on whether they're going to be a competitor or not.
And another thing you got to take into account here is you got to remember the casual market is the biggest market. And what company are we talking about? Google. I mean, that just rolls off the tongues of so many people out there in terms of, you talk about casual gamers and stuff like that. So they are also going to be living off their name as well. They're going to put the money down on the games, but at the end of the day, that box is going to have the name Google on it.
Right. And the Google name holds a lot of weight, but there's also there's also a lot of, negativity behind the Google name as well that could turn some people off. There are a lot of people out there that don't trust Google, that think Google knows too much about us. I mean, hell, I've had a Google
those are
operating
still the
system
same people buying their little Google that takes over their house and everything like that, man.
Right,
You know
right.
what
But are gamers, even casual gamers, are they going to trust Google with another aspect of their life?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, again, look at the way people responded to the Xbox One Connect. You were being watched 24/7.
Yeah,
Right,
but that was
government.
Microsoft. Microsoft is the big bad company in all this. They held that stigma since like 95 or so. People really started going in on Microsoft as in terms of negativity. It was just cool to hate on Microsoft since 1995. But with Google, I mean, in terms of the casuals, if they offer more features that are more, what is the name of their kind of speaker that will get you the internet, weather, all that good stuff?
Alexa.
Google Home.
No. I'm sorry. That's it's Google. Yeah, it's Google Home.
Google Home. All right.
Yeah.
If they add Google Home features and say you can get this, and it's like having a Google Home as well, there are people that are going to kind of buy into that.
but Google casuals aren't going to shell out for a console.
Not $500.
No, they're not. Not the Candy Crush play on the train people. Those are the Google casuals. You know what I mean?
Good point.
Dude, this is why I love Knox right there.
Yeah, because I gotta go to work in 20 minutes, and I'm going to see 7 million people on their goddamn phone playing Candy Crush or Bejeweled or so. These guys are not buying a console to play these games,
Right.
And Knox makes a great point, but isn't that why what was it, Project Stream? They were having Assassin's Creed Odyssey through Google Chrome. So I mean, you can get Google Chrome on your phone. You can get it on anything. So it's you should be able to. I think they're also kind of thinking the same way Xbox is thinking with xCloud. We're hey, look, we don't want you to be tied to a console. We want you to be, on your tablet or whatever. As long as you got Chrome, you can play this game.
Yeah, I could only see Google really getting into that if they launch their streaming console and it's very successful and they want to give people hardware, get hardcore gamers into it. They're like, oh, yo, I like that.
But here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. Google can make this console really cheap. And why not at this point? If they're going to make an X next year, I mean, let's be honest. Again, they're not going to be the strongest box out. But we know Nintendo outsold the PlayStation 4.
But it's a handheld.
But that's Nintendo, though. they're Nintendo.
Knox. But what does Nintendo have? Great first
Yeah,
party
yeah,
Portability.
yeah.
And if Google goes and buys big time first party exclusives exclusively on their box, why wouldn't people buy it? Like, they know this recipe works. This is nothing new to anybody. If everybody on this panel right now were billionaires, I would actually talk all of us into getting into it because we would make a lot of money.
Yeah.
All we would have to do is go buy out IPs, make the box that's already 2 years old in technology, but strong enough really to keep up with the Joneses, and we're good.
I mean, but that's going to cost them a lot of money. I know they got money for days, but yeah, that's going to be expensive, man. To compete with Sony and Microsoft and Nintendo, that's going to be tough.
I agree.
That's going to be tough no matter how you spend. They got a lot of money. That doesn't mean, when these suits sit down, we got a lot of money. Let's talk about our returns. Let's talk about what we're getting back. We're
talk about getting more.
Let's talk. Yeah. We're set to invest this much. Are we going to get that back? We're gonna make 100% profit. It's hard, man.
But
they could do it. They could do it.
Google is in a position right now because Amazon, they're flirting in the gaming space as well. Microsoft has always been in here. When you talk about these big corporations, I mean, you gotta kind of keep up with the Joneses, even if you're multi-billion-dollar companies or whatnot. And they have to have some type of answer to what's going on in Amazon's corner, in Microsoft's corner and whatnot. So they have to spend in order to kind of stay up there. You know what I'm saying?
Hell, I mean, even Verizon is actually getting into this too.
Yes.
Bro, and
wild.
Yeah, and I mean, it looks interesting. Looked like they had some Sony exclusives on, they were showing off. I mean, things are changing. People get it's something that us as hardcore gamers we can't get our head around, but it's like it is
like,
what
the
it
hell's
is.
Going
like,
on?
Yeah, you're like what?
Yep.
God of War, Verizon, what? Like, but
the industry is changing, and
it's changing.
I actually think Sony might be interested in selling. Well, not selling, but I guess allowing their IP on other services if they're going to be making a profit from it.
Well, yeah, they're going to get the fast track on the whole 5G stuff because Verizon is all over.
Absolutely. And the thing is, and when you see Google and Amazon entering the space and whatnot, and even other companies are showing a lot of interest, like gaming is changing a lot. Even Apple during their keynote when they announced the iPad Pro, the new one, they compared it to an Xbox One S. Yeah, they said they have the power of an S inside that tablet, and it shows that there are more competitors entering the gaming space. You're going to have cloud streaming. You're going to have a huge battle in cloud streaming between Microsoft and Google and potentially several other companies.
Al, you know what an interesting fact is that people don't really talk about on any the podcast I listen to, I haven't heard, and it's something I've just been thinking about more and more, is the people that are podcasting now and younger. Okay, let's say go from the oldest podcaster all the way down. Everybody is gaming, right? Yeah. If you go to people who are absolutely. Say 60 plus or 65 plus or 70 plus, gaming wasn't a part of their everyday regimen. But all of us that grew up, and if you played 80s games, 90s games, all right, early 2000s, you are the generation moving forward. That means that you have a console in your house. It means your kids are now playing them. That means their kids are going to be playing them. That's why the biggest oops I think that Phil did was when he was like, there's 2 billion gamers out there. Google was like, what?
I was actually going to bring that up.
I was like, you never should have said that, Phil, because you were the big shark in the ocean. And then all of a sudden, the minute you said 2 billion, it was like all the cages opened and all the other sharks came out.
I don't think
Mooch, Chad, to your point there as well. I was going to say as well, one of the things that Google would have to do to really go ahead with this project is they got to convince their investors it's a good idea. They got to say to them, hey, we know what we're doing. And having those kinds of facts, those kinds of numbers are so critical to getting the approval on doing that kind of stuff. So, Mooch, it's a good point. It's a really good point.
And I think just the sheer change in what gaming has become in the past decade, if you look back at the amount of money that video games have made, they're making more money every year. Gaming in general is a multi-billion-dollar industry right now. So it's just the new reality of what we are at. With that kind of money out there, there's going to be more people trying to get it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame any of them out there. If we're all those big corporate sharks, you want to have a part of this pie, right? And this has been something that's an untapped source. We've been joking about it for well over let's just say this generation. While podcasting has been as big as it's been, we've been saying that Microsoft always doesn't think of Sony as their competitor; they think of Amazon, Google, and Apple. But here you go. Now you've got, right, and we never really threw Verizon in there, but they're a runner-up in that big group of folks up there in the billionaire crowd, right? So now you have Verizon, you've got Google. We know Amazon has hired developers, right? Apple has always been doing, and they've kind of wanted to flirt with the mobile market, and that makes sense for them. I get it. That's if that's their niche, believe me, they're making money on it because the mobile market is making a lot of money.
Yeah, but I mean, Mooch, when it comes, they're looking at everything kind of intently because, with these streaming services, the technology boosting up to where, people are going to be able to play these console type games on multiple devices. I mean, that's mobile right there. So I think they're looking at what's going on. I'm pretty sure behind the door of their R&D department, there's something cooking back there at Apple, man.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to argue with that. I can't see Apple sitting there seeing Google, Amazon, Microsoft all
they're not
playing
just going to let them go by like that. No,
yeah,
here, go ahead, guys.
And they're just
thing with Apple though is I think when it comes to them and pursuing gaming, I think they're going to use a lot of the products they already have, the ecosystem they already have, their Apple TV, their iPad, their iPhone,
right?
Power that's inside the newest iPhones, like it can. You see that. The newest iPhone running Fortnite, it just blitzes right through it. They have that new Bethesda's making a game for the iPhone. It looks really, really, really good. So like Apple has a gaming strategy too, but I think they're gonna focus on the current devices they already have rather than doing a console. We'll see.
Yeah, I can't see Apple not want to be a part of this, but at the same time, I will say this much, guys. I don't care how much money you have. If Verizon, Google, Amazon, Apple, Microsoft, etc., are all getting involved, that seems to it's still now you have Sony and Nintendo. Now we're saturating, right? Because there's only so many. Well, there's only so many developers. Look
at the wallet sizes of all these companies now. And what you notice here is when you put it in the pecking order of who has the most money to spend in this division and stuff like that, all of a sudden Sony is a lot lower on the totem pole than a lot of the other companies as well.
You know what though? Realistically though, let's call a spade though, Xbot. As far as the financial purse, you might be right, but as far as actually the way to survive in the gaming industry, no. I mean, when you see Naughty Dog go exclusively to Google, maybe that's something but it's all about the games.
Well, the interesting thing here is something we've never seen before. Like we've seen an inflated company get into the console space when it came to Microsoft, when they came with the first Xbox, but we never seen a bunch of companies come in and actually inflate the industry.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So now all of a sudden, yeah, you have like this history here. You've had success and stuff like that. But now your competitors are in the hundreds of $1 millions more that they can spend going against you in that industry. It's something we've never really seen before. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think we've ever seen like these big mega corporations all close in on the gaming industry like this and basically could actually inflate the entire industry and drown out kind of like legacy companies that have been there for a while. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I got news for you. Everybody that's big into YouTube and everybody that's big in the industry that's writing right now is writing that next generation is going to take a lot of people for an absolute, like just a joyride. No one's going to know this is a whole new, right? It's a whole new territory. We don't know what we're kind of stepping into here.
Yep. And I'll tell you one thing.
Go ahead, Alan.
I've already decided my platforms for next gen. I've got two answers. It's going to be Microsoft's console and PC.
Oh, interesting. Now, why are you knocking the other 4 or 5 or possibly 6 out that want to join in on the fun?
Honestly, it comes down to expenses, really, doesn't it? And it's like I could just invest that money into the games that are coming out on the next Xbox.
That's a good point. I mean, what do you guys think about that on the panel? I mean, crap. I don't know. You had to step away for a second, but
my mic wasn't working. I was talking and nobody could hear me, so I had to reset my computer.
What do you think about this whole Google entering the space and maybe these other guys trying to get in? And Alan's saying that next generation, if Xbox and PC are his platform because of cost, let's be honest, not all of us can go out and buy a $500 box by all these big conglomerates.
Yeah, for me personally, it's going to be Xbox and PlayStation and Nintendo. I don't really care about these other guys. I get all my games and I want to play through those. I don't care about Metal Gear. I don't care about, that's like getting Michael Jordan when he's 45. Like, nobody cares.
Right.
It's like, it's like Tom Brady. Nobody cares. Just they don't. Oh, damn.
Uh-oh.
Somebody was waiting for a patch joke from you, by the way, Crap. Like, somebody was waiting.
That was actually perfectly timed.
If I can say something real quick, Crap makes an interesting point, and I guess I'm the same with that, where I'm not really caring about what Google and Amazon and Verizon and whoever else is doing. I'm still going to get my Xbox. I'm still going to get my PlayStation. I'm still going to eventually get my Nintendo, and then I'm gonna keep doing that because I'm a 38-year-old gamer, and I've been doing this since the original NES days. But every year there are new gamers becoming gamers. Every year there is a newer generation that's coming in, and these kids they love their Fortnites, they love their Minecrafts. They love all these other kind of different games. They'll play games on their phone. They'll play games on their iPads. Like my son, I tried to get my son a system. My son said, "No, I'm good. I'm good with my 3DS." And I'm like, "Okay, I wouldn't be good with 3DS, but hey, he's 8 years old, and as he gets older, his interests are going to continue to grow." And I think these companies are thinking, "Hey, look, the older generation, we may not have a chance at them, but these younger kids." There's more and more gamers coming into gaming every single year.
I just said this to Crap earlier today. I'll say it again. I'll say it next week. Every day, a new gamer is born. Yep. So what I'm saying to you is everything you just said is gospel, because nobody on this panel, probably nobody in the chat, and nobody I talk to while I'm on YouTube will ever say, "I can't wait for that new Google system." And I agree. I'm not either, right? Mm-hmm. But somebody who's going to be 10 years old 10 years from now might be like, Google Box is the shit, right? Because they might go out and buy all the IP. And let's be honest, people didn't give Xbox the fair shake when they came out with the OG Xbox. They're like, that'll never work out. What did Xbox do? They saw Halo. They saw that, I believe, and guys, correct me if I'm wrong, but Bungie was originally an Apple asset.
They were Mac exclusive.
Right. So they bought them. They get that. All of a sudden, they go out and they buy this. Then they go out and they get Gears. And it's like, oh, my God. And they didn't own Gears till this generation.
You know what? That's a great point.
Mooch, Halo was announced at an Apple keynote.
Yes, I saw that keynote. I watched it. Very grainy. Very bad videography.
I remember when the first Xbox was announced, my initial thought was Microsoft does not need to be in gaming. And I thought exactly like what you were saying. This console is going to fail. I'm going to stick with my PlayStation. But look where we are now.
Exactly. And that's what I'm saying. And Google's like, I wish Phil never said that. If I was Satya Nadella, I would have been like, why'd you tell him about the 2 billion people? Those were our people. The minute he said there's 2 billion people out there, Google and Amazon were like, who? We got to get in that. Who's selling?
We need Mooch in these meeting rooms.
I'm telling you right now, so I can wear a tie. I can get in there. I can take off the Captain America suit anytime you want. All right, listen, guys, I got news for you. We're almost at the end of the show. There's something very important to talk about because we all did grow up. Slow-Mo said it himself, okay? We all grew up playing Nintendo. We know this. Even if you were a Sega fan, you played Nintendo. Metroid 4, okay, Prime 4. They came out and they said, listen, we don't like the direction that the developer was going in. We're starting over. I think this is a bravo for Nintendo.
Yep.
They gave it right. They gave it back to Retro. Is it Retro Studios?
Yes, Retro Studios is doing it now. Yes.
Boom. What do you think about this? This is a big deal, I think. I don't mind them taking their time.
The way you have to look at it is like this. Sure. People are going to be disappointed because we were expecting, some sort of Metroid Prime 4 information at this year's E3. Everyone's sure, there's been no Metroid on the 3DS. I mean, on the Switch. But the thing is this: you have to give Nintendo the credit for coming forward, making this video, putting it out there, because I saw a lot of people say, oh, well, why didn't they just stealth do it and just keep it moving?
Right.
Because they respect their fan base. And they came out and they said what was happening did not meet our standards.
Yes.
It would not meet the fans' standards. So we're scrapping everything and we're returning the series back to Retro Studios, who developed Metroid Prime 1, 2, and 3. And guess what? They dropped the mic, they walked away. And as a fan of that series, as a fan of Metroid, this is the greatest move they could have done, because we know what happened with the other Metroid game, the other M, that no one wants to talk about. It was a travesty of justice. Okay. And what they can do, and I'm going to be tweeting about this until someone from Nintendo flies me over to Japan and we have a conversation. Okay. There's two things they need to do to fix this sting with gamers, especially Switch gamers, and it's an easy fix. They need to release the 3DS version of Metroid that came out, the side scroller that was absolutely fantastic. It works perfect on the Switch. It's a game on the go. You can play it. That has to be ported over. And just tell us, take my $60, my $40, whatever you want. Tell me that the trilogy is being ported over to the Switch, and I'll buy it right now. If they put out those two titles that are going to contain 4 full Metroid games, 1 classic and 2 and 3 Metroid Prime games, it completely eliminates the sting. Let Retro Studios do their thing, and in 2021 or 2022 we'll have a new Metroid. End of story.
I completely agree. And it's good that Crap's back, because me and Crap talk about one thing that Nintendo did. That's we
sign off soon, man. This thing's trying to get me to update this shit. It's like it keeps on kicking me out.
Lucky for you, Crap, it's almost 9 o'clock, and I know that gift's on the way. But Crap, me and you talk about this all the time. Nintendo kind of saved the day with the gold seal of approval, right?
Yeah, they stopped the shovelware stuff. Yeah, and it was funny because then they allowed shovelware on like the Wii and all the, you know what I mean? But it's so funny that they actually kind of pissed off everybody, developers at the time, because you were only allowed to make like 5 games or something for these developers. And so it's such an interesting thing for me. If this were Microsoft, everybody would be talking about it. And what I mean by that is Microsoft announces their games 18 months out now, right?
Yep.
Sony announces them 4, 5, 10 years out.
Right.
Nintendo, we all knew Nintendo bullshitted people. They put up who was it? Chris Steele tweeted out me today on Twitter. He's like, that was a hell of a gift or a JPEG though that they showed, right? Like, they put up this little stupid thing that's like, here it is. We're working on Metroid Prime. And now it's can't. So now you have another 3, 4 years?
At least.
Yeah.
It might not even be a Switch game by that time.
Switch 2 is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, exactly. It could be a Switch 2. So instead, we're going to get remakes of the original 3 games. Woo!
Yes, exactly. And credit to what Crap's saying real quick. And it's funny because we all sit here on the panel. I'm guilty as charged as well. We're like, oh, give them enough time. Give them what they need. Don't worry about it. You want to take 8 years. I don't care. Do whatever you want. But
I don't want to be 50 playing Red Dead 3 or you know what I mean? Like I want to. I get that these games take time, but shit, man, I don't like. When was the last Metroid game? I can't even remember. But
it was the other.
We didn't have our driver's license yet. I got news for you, man. It's been such a long goddamn time. It's ridiculous. And Crap's right, because look at Crackdown was delayed by what? A year and a half? Say 2 years? Go as crazy as you want. Now we're like, Metroid, you talked about it a year ago. Don't worry about it. Get out of here. That's, it's like George Costanza. Get out of here. I don't care what doesn't matter. Whatever you need. Take whatever you need. Get out of here.
They scrapped 2 years of development, Mooch.
Yeah, right?
2 years.
I was gonna say, didn't they talk about it 2 years ago?
Yes, 2 years. They're scrapping 24 months of development time.
Now, first off, I'm like, I'm glad that they're doing this and they're putting it out there if they're not liking what was being made. But where were they the last 2 years? If they're like, we don't like the way that this is going, you think that Nintendo would be there like, no, I don't like that. You got to change that. No, I don't like that. You got to change that. Like you would see the evolution of the game within those 2 years to be like, you know what? That's it. Screw it. You guys are done with it. You know what I'm saying? I thought that, the only thing I would say is I wish they would have done it sooner to let people know.
Yeah.
But at least they did it. At least they're not, they got the cojones to be like, you know what? We're done with this team. We're taking our IP. Here, give it back to the originals. Guys, you know how to do it. Get to work.
Yeah, I mean, it may be possible that they were just giving them more time. Maybe they were giving them feedback like, we don't like this, we don't like that. Can you improve on these things? Oh, okay. I see the direction you went here. We don't like that either. Can you improve on that? And then at
2 years of that, man.
Yeah, at a certain point, you just gotta go. You know what? This isn't working. And I'm fine with what Nintendo did, and I'm fine with them coming out and letting people know, instead of just kind of doing a stealth cancel and just like what Metroid Prime? I don't know.
But
what
it's
you're
gonna
talking
be
about.
it's gonna be 3 or 4 years of development, though. That's gonna be another 3 or 4 years before another Metroid comes out.
Man, you know what? We all got backlogs. I'm fine. I got other games to play. I'm cool with it.
I'm with you, Slow. At this point,
only time I'm gonna be mad is when you release a bad game. That's when I'm like, what you doing?
Well, that's where we're at right now, and that's the whole thing. And especially moving into the next generation with x86 architecture on both consoles now, we don't have to worry about that stagnant, I have nothing to play as next generation starts up. These developers, and the Don will be on in a few weeks, they'll be able to tell you a little bit more about it, is that they won't have that stopgap. It's going to be a constant flow. Just because they're up in the res, just because they're up in the the frames, that doesn't stop the devs from developing like it did with this generation and other ones prior. That being said, guys, it's 9 o'clock. I'm keeping 2 people on the panel. Let's make it 3 that I know of away from Resident Evil, and I'm keeping the rest of the panel away from that loading screen on Anthem. Listen, okay? So what I want to say is this. Outstanding show tonight. Great chat. The chat was moving at the speed of light tonight. Okay. Second of all, I didn't even get to half of my topics. I almost want to have another show tomorrow, but I'm not. We'll save it for next week. All right. I'm not doing that. We got M&C on Sunday, and I'll promote that at the end. But let me go in reverse order here. I want to thank everybody on this panel. This panel was absolutely kick-ass. I couldn't have asked for a better panel. I'm going absolute reverse order here. And I don't remember where I started, where I ended from. But I'll go with Magic Mike. Magic Mike from Console Corner. Magic, you will be back on this show, whether your wife allows you or not. I'll tell you right now.
You know it. I will be back. And
you're that damn good.
Thanks so much for having me on tonight. Awesome discussions as always. Love meeting some of the new crew members you got on here. It's always a great panel, always a great time on Crossfire, and I hope to be back again.
You will be, buddy. Trust me. Just keep an eye on those DMs. Then I've got my buddy Knox. Knox, who has a bunch of different. He put out 3 small sets of videos today that are absolutely hysterical. He gives me a run for my money on my yelling, and he's still muted. So if he doesn't answer to this, there he is. There's Knox is back. Knox, let people know where they can find you, buddy, and thanks for being here tonight.
Yo, Mooch, man, thanks for having me, bro. Yo, the panel was awesome, man. The chat was hot. It was live, bro. I do got to book it on to work. You could catch me on the Knox We Trust at DKnox on Twitter. The next podcast on Saturdays with Xbot and the gang over there. So, yo, again, peace out, everybody. Have a good night. Thanks for having me, Mooch.
Yo, Knox, thanks for being here, and I'm sorry I ran a little late. I appreciate
Nah, man. That's on me, brother. The topics were it was fire, bro. I was feeling like you said. We didn't even get to finish them.
We didn't even get to. We'll do it next week, Knox. We'll get you back here.
Absolutely, my brother.
All right, be easy, buddy. And then I've got Slow Mo, who's from BRAP Basement Radio Arcade Podcast. Slow Mo, awesome to have you here, man. The audience loves you on Crossfire, dude. There's so many people be like, yo, add Slow Mo, add Slow Mo. Slow Mo, you got to come back, buddy. Promise everybody you'll come back at least a few more times and let everybody know where they can find you.
Yeah, I'm definitely coming back anytime you guys need me. I'm here to join you guys and have a little fun. You guys can catch me on Twitter with the same name, and also want to announce BRAP hit 1,000 subs. Over the course of the show.
Yeah.
Congrats to the guys, Enrique, B Money, Eric, and Gaming Forte. It was well deserved. And also you can catch me tomorrow on the Ash and Lucas podcast, Scumcast, which I am another panel member of, and that one is it's pretty crazy. Come check us out.
Luca's great. Luca actually started out with us on M&C, and Luca holds a dear spot in all of our hearts on this show as well. Mm-hmm. Luca's one of the best on Twitter. Do follow her as well. Slow-Mo, thanks for being here, buddy. Appreciate it. And now to my usual suspects. I've got my boy Italian Clowns, who's probably about knee deep in a calzone right now. Clowns, where can people find you? An outstanding.
Mooch. That's
I know you keep saying it's nasty. Clowns, let people know where they can find you. And I love what you guys are doing on Four Guys with Quarters on Thursday night. I love the artwork, by the way.
Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, every Thursday, usually 5:30, Inferno starts the regular podcast. We're also doing 4GWQ Presents now. So we got some people, comic executives coming on, artists, writers, maybe some people in the music industry in the future. And yeah, just check us out, Four Guys with Quarters everywhere. We're also on iHeartRadio now. And yes, I did eat a calzone while being sick, and I feel a little bit better.
Nice.
It always helps.
That's like Popeye eating spinach.
Absolutely.
Italian food helps everybody. Remember that. We're here to help, folks. We're here to help. That being said, I got an Xbot 448, yes, sometimes confused with 844. Xbot, you've got a big show tomorrow. Let people know about it, please.
Yes, sir. Now, first off, I gotta say, Mooch, you are known for your big panels here, but this one definitely took the cake.
It was up there.
I had a lot of fun tonight. The energy was absolutely amazing. You know me, I'm all about energy. The chat was crazy. Guys, awesome. I need you to come in with our every week people in the chat as well for the next podcast.
Yes, please.
It is on my channel, 7 p.m. We have gameplay going while we're talking gaming news, and you get to vote for who has the best gameplay for that show. And if you want more Knox, you got to tune in tomorrow on my channel, 7 p.m. Man.
Vote for Pred. Sorry.
Yeah, vote for Pred. Vote for Pred. You have my endorsement, maybe some union bribes, whatever it takes. Vote for Pred.
Vote for Pred. I love it. I love it. Pred. And he made his glorious comeback tonight. His input is invaluable, guys. You guys don't understand how great it is to have Alan Walsh back. Alan, we hope you're back with us again next week. I know you had some stuff you had to take care of, and you've got a lot of business to take care of, but I can't tell you enough. The audience loved it. I'm a big fan. The panel loves you.
HDR.
Al, let people know where they can find you, and we will see you next week as well.
Well, I got to say first real quick, what a fantastic night to return to. The panel, the topics, everything was on fire. We didn't even get through more than 3 of the topics.
We didn't!
We'll do it all again tomorrow night, I guess.
I guess so.
Anyways, yeah, my social media channels are at Beetle Comet. The website is fullthrottlemedia.co.uk. Only thing I'll plug on there is we got a story that kind of talks about everything to expect from the Forza franchise in 2019. It's going to be a bit of a different year. So with that article, I wanted to try and, clarify some stuff and, set people's expectations.
Well, Alan, I got news for you. I'm going to give you a small plug myself. Guys in the chat, everyone listening later, do check out what Alan just said. He's a big Forza guy. If you love Forza, that's pretty much your main hub for information. That's where I go for all of my Forza information. Alan, thanks for being here tonight. We truly appreciate it, and it is great to have you back on the show again.
My pleasure, dude. Absolutely.
Thank you. And then he's probably already purchased things and his wife's pissed off. Senora Bombastic, boom! I try to keep him grounded. Boom, let people know where they can find you. You got a great series of podcasts on your channel.
Thanks so much. Yeah, follow me on Twitter. DM's open to everyone. And of course, I enjoy and love talking to the community. Sometimes you get messages that are not nice, but you know what? As you get bigger, they come out of the woodworks and they tell you that you're wrong, which is fine. But you know what? Check out Double Barrel Gaming. Lots of new content, lots of live content. And I just want to finish it off with hashtag Resident Evil 2 is still better than Red Dead Redemption 2.
Wow!
Whoa!
Hashtag wow!
I'm sure it's going to sell better too.
Right.
I knew it. I was like, Kraft's being too kind to you tonight. Boom. Very kind. Boom. Awesome stuff. Do check him out. And then last but certainly not least, my co-host on MNC Show. We will be on live 11 a.m. on the Mooch 78 channel this week. Crap, let them know where they can find you this weekend, buddy.
Crap Gamer Reviews.
That's such a great plug, guys. Do check it out. Crap's got a lot of views. 3 videos a day when he feels like he's up to it. Guys, great stuff. Check it out. Great show tonight, man. I got to be honest with you. I know we're running a little over 9, and I'm going to hear from Crap later, but I got news for you guys. Great show, great audience. We'll do it again next week. Again, MNC Show, 11 a.m. Eastern Time on this channel. We'll catch you this week. Guys, enjoy your weekend. RE2, Anthem demo, lots of things going on. We'll see you next Friday. Peace out.
Later.